Alexander steps up, has to look to the end zone. The Hail Mary for a Grey Cup! Broken up, incomplete, that'll do it! It took 12 years, but Saskatchewan's time is now. The Roughriders, 2025 Grey Cup champions, can you believe it?
Whew. I don't know about you, but that final clip and the 112th Grey Cup still gives me chills. Your Saskatchewan Roughriders make it 5 Grey Cups in franchise history. And we are here to dissect the game, take your calls, talk to you, Rider Nation, see how you're feeling on this Grey Cup Monday. It is the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. I am your host, Teagan Witko. I am joined alongside voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas, who has had a whirlwind 24 hours. Holy smokes, the stories you probably have to tell today, Dave.
There's a couple.
Yeah, there is a couple.
There's a couple.
Yeah, fresh off the rally, the glimpse at the Grey Cup that was just at Mosaic Stadium as well, welcoming back the team.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, there were a couple of thousand people there at Mosaic Stadium to welcome them back. That was pretty cool.
And a lot of cowbells. A lot of 620 CKRM cowbells.
There were a lot of cowbells.
Now, the Sports Cage today is brought to you by Kellen Solar. 35 years of experience moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more for your livestock operation. We have a great show lined up for you today. 3 Down Nation's Justin Dunk will be joining us in a little bit here. Wes Cates, Grey Cup champ. Now he has more people to join him with that prestigious honor. He's going to be swinging by in a little bit here to talk more about the game. Of course, a ton of exclusive content that was grabbed last night on field level following that huge win for the Green and White. So we're going to hear a little bit more on that. Rob Vanstone and Candy.
Yes.
So they're going to be joining us. So also fresh off the plane, they're going to be hanging out for a little bit here to talk about this historic win for the Riders. Darian Durant. Doubles.
Yeah.
He'll be dropping by to talk about this Grey Cup win and just a whole bunch of other stuff. Kolten Bridgmen's going to swing by for the Regina Pats as well in Pats Chat. All of our guests will be joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. It's the pizza that is known worldwide for a reason. Loaded with toppings of Western Canadian ingredients, always cooked to perfection. I know they would have been busy last night.
Oh.
The Green Mile was busy last night. Tons of people out celebrating this win.
Trust me, we heard about it in Winnipeg, and so did the team. And so then they started seeing some photos on social media and stuff, and it was like, whoa, all right, let's go.
You know what? It's so nice to see that Green Mile back, and it is going to be filled with green and white yet again tomorrow because they do have a Grey Cup parade planned for 2 o'clock.
Yes.
Is my understanding. So 2 o'clock, they're going to start Victoria Avenue and 13th, and then they go all the way down to the Ledge, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be a party here in Saskatchewan, I think, all week long. Oh, it's going to be fun. So yeah, if you want to get lined up, if you want to check that out, maybe call in sick to work. Be a good idea. 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, it should be wrapped up by 4.
A lot of sick time could be used in Saskatchewan this week, I'm just saying.
I was coming into today fully prepared for one of 2 possible scenarios, Dave. That is either pure, utter heartbreak or hangovers.
Yeah?
I think it's the latter.
Oh, yeah. There's no heartbreak for sure. But, yeah, no.
Unless you're the Montreal Alouettes.
Yeah, but they won 2 years ago. It was our turn. Our time, as Trevor Harris would say.
Okay, I like that. Speaking of Trevor Harris, you had a chance to have a conversation with him last night following this momentous victory.
Trevor Harris, Grey Cup champion, family surrounding you. Oh man, just look in your kids' eyes as they look at Dad and what he's accomplished. What goes through your mind?
I'm just grateful. All praise and honor goes to Jesus Christ. I'm just so grateful to be here, be a part of this team, this organization. Couldn't be more thankful. I wake up every day with a ton of gratitude to be the quarterback of this organization, and I'm just glad we were able to deliver a championship for this team, or for this city, and this province. It's just awesome, man. I love seeing this.
You have told me all year long that this offense continues to progress because we're going to get where we want to be by the end of the year. You're where you want to be. agree. What was the key to that?
There was a lot of things tonight that I thought we did well, but a lot of things that we could have done better. But I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm just going to celebrate this championship with this awesome group of guys.
What's your message to the province of Saskatchewan?
I know that other fans are going to say we only have 5. You can tell them we won the most recent one.
Trevor Harris, congratulations.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
That is a man who is never satisfied.
No.
Despite an 85% completion percentage in the Grey Cup game in Winnipeg. Like, that's the highest in Grey Cup history.
Yeah, it's a new record, and to me, the offense started a little bit slow in the first quarter, right? They only scored a point. And I remember Luke and I had a conversation. I said, there's nothing to worry about here because this team is the slowest starting team in the CFL in first quarter points. And then the second quarter came and they started chewing up clock by just taking more and more and more time off of it when they were running long drives. And then I think that Mario Alford set the tone early in that second half when he took the opening kickoff, right? And it was 31 yards. It could have been a lot more than 31 yards, but he set the team up in almost scoring position, right? So that fantastic field position then just followed the Riders throughout the third quarter, and they did what they needed to do then to cash in from there.
And of course, Trevor Harris solidifying himself as a GOAT in Rider Nation. That was an incredible performance from Trevor Harris, the shot caller for the green and white.
Yeah, only 5 quarterbacks have led the Saskatchewan Roughriders to a Grey Cup championship, and now he is number 5. Do you want the story?
Of course I do.
Trevor Harris, right? And I told this when we were in Winnipeg, and the story just keeps getting better, right? With the things that they have to do to maintain a routine, which is what the athletes want to do, right? So he was telling me a little bit about the dietary things that he was doing, which I'm like, whoa, I would not have thought about all of that. But then also the workout on day 1 in the hotel pool that he had worked together with Dan Farthing to come up with, and then he's working out in the pool with kids water sliding down beside the quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders working out. So
a professional athlete.
Yeah. Worked out, though. Worked out in the end.
Never know what you're going to run into in Winnipeg, I guess.
No. And at the rally today, what was the chant that went up? 1 more year.
He has a big decision to make in the offseason.
Turning 40.
Yeah.
Right. And he's always said that, because he didn't play as much as he wanted to early in his CFL career, he's got a lot of tread on the tires, is the one thing that he says. And we'll find out, right? Because, again, it's obviously his call at the end of the day, but it's going to be an interesting call. I don't think anyone in Rider Nation would not want him back, would they?
Well, I think everybody wants him back, quite frankly, because then you also start looking at, okay, well, then if not him, then who?
Yeah.
But then you also need to see it from his perspective, his family's perspective. Do you go out on a high note?
See, that's just it, right? Do you want to leave on that high?
Or do you want to roll the dice, gamble it, and try to go for 2 in a row?
What more does he have to prove? I think he's a Hall of Famer winning a Grey Cup now as a starting quarterback.
But you know what? Based on that clip that we just played from last night, I don't know if he's satisfied.
No, but that's his analytical mind, right? Because he dissects tape and defenses, and that's what the receivers always talk about, because he knows where to put the ball, so I'm not going to get hurt, and so I know where I need to run with the ball, right? I know where the coverage, I know where the tacklers are coming from, so I can go ahead and use that to my advantage. So to me, it is so hard to read right now. And again, we're less than 24 hours after he won a Grey Cup, right? That's right.
But yes, lots to talk about with this Rider win. Grey Cup champions. That's got a pretty nice ring to it. Doing so in enemy territory. The green and white celebrating the week away. But I do just want to, producer Kolten, my guy, pulled this one for us because I think we might need to dub this the tweet of the night last night. And it comes from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. If you didn't see this, it's up on the screen right now, sportscage.com, and streaming on our YouTube. Well, at least the sun will explode one day, and none of this will matter. From the official Winnipeg Blue Bombers X account.
I would suggest...
Are they okay?
I would suggest there were a lot of Bomber fans that actually cheered for the Riders. Okay. Because it was substantially louder every time, again, right with the fans cheering on the defense of the Riders, it was substantially louder every time Montreal had the football.
Of course, we were back here listening to the broadcast, and we could hear just how loud it was in favor of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. When the TSN stream was working, I was trying to get, a little indication of how much green was in the stands there, but it did look like it was leaning towards the green and white. There
definitely was a lot of green, and it was funny because you couldn't see it on television, but being there on the concourse, all green. Like, there was no Montreal Alouettes. So, again, just above that section of seats that you can see, again, all the way around. It was standing room, and it was all Riders. I don't mean to sound like a homer here, but I'm going to sound like a homer anyway. I don't know any fan base that travels better than the Riders, at least in this league. You can't prove it. The data's there. You look at the attendance bump everywhere you go, right? Yeah. When Riders are in town, for sure. So how are you feeling today? Are you a little... Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me. Are you a little tired? No, I'm okay. You're okay? I'm going to survive. It was a late night, but we'll be okay. Yeah, I know. I appreciate you coming in here so quickly. That's a tight turnaround for Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. What did you think? Guys, you want to let us know? Prairie Land Rentals text line is open. Whatever you need to rent to get the job done, Prairie Land Rentals probably has it. Also, an official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Let us know what you're thinking, okay? Feel free. Shoot us a message. 306-936-6262 if you'd like to join in the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. We're already getting a couple of messages here, and we will be getting to those as the afternoon moves on. I know we have lots of guests still that are coming in, but I do also want to chat briefly about Jamarcus Hardrick. Okay. So Jamarcus comes off of the injury last year. Yeah. And put him on the sideline for quite some time here. We all know that he was frustrated about that, but he comes off that injury into this season. He wins Most Outstanding Offensive Lineman in Winnipeg as a former Bomber with their rivals, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it doesn't even stop there. 13 is clearly a lucky number for this guy because he just celebrated his 13th wedding anniversary with his wife, Sam, who was there by his side, helping him battle through that injury last season. Yep. And now he can add Grey Cup ring to this very impressive year for Yoshi. Absolutely. And he was soaking up the love in Winnipeg because the fans there absolutely love him. And what's not to love, right? He is the true leader on the team, and again, he's 35 years old. He acts like he's 25 years old. He's got a real big decision to make in the offseason because he will be a pending free agent. I know that the Riders, I'm sure, would love to have the big right tackle back, but boy, I go ahead and I just envy everything that he has done because you say an injury, sometimes you got to come back from it. This time around, it was an injury, but it was like a devastating, life-changing, potentially injury, right? Where you could have mobility issues, stuff like that. So I know he worked his tail off to get back, and it wasn't he thought that he might even have been able to come back at the end of last year. That clearly wasn't the case because after Christmas, his wife is still helping him with mobility issues. So very cool. And Dave Thomas had a conversation with him exclusively on the sidelines last night. Do we have that queued up? Oh, just give us a second here. By the way, do you still have green and white confetti in your shoes, Dave? I do not, but I had a lot of it, I'll tell you that. Well, here's Dave on field level with Jamarcus Hardrick last night.
Jamarcus Hardrick, Grey Cup champion with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Tell me, what does that sound like?
Oh, man. The cup is coming home, baby. The cup is coming home to Regina. I don't know what street we're going down, Albert or Broad, but let's pack this baby out.
You've got your wife, your kids here. They are so proud of their dad right now. What's your dad say about this family that got you back to this point to be a champion?
My wife and my kids, they're everything to me. They support me so much. They love me so much. I'm trying to be better every day for them. I love my wife and my kids. This means everything for them to witness this. I'm just happy the trophy's coming home, and we're going to celebrate the white way in Regina.
Tell me what was through your mind then. Zero's on the clock, and you look up, and that ball falls incomplete.
We're champs forever, baby. We're champs forever. It's coming home.
Jamarcus Hardrick, congrats.
Thank you, Rider Nation. Let's do it big in Regina.
You got to lift it up. And you know what? They did do it big indeed. Already just the first day back at Mosaic Stadium, a glimpse at the Cup earlier this afternoon. Thousands in attendance to welcome not only the green and white back, but also the Grey Cup for the first time in 12 years. It's an exciting week. Let's go. We actually have Wes Cates in the building. We got Justin Dunk on standby. So we're going to talk even more about this game here. But first, we do need to take a quick break, okay? This is the Sports Cage on the home of Rider Nation. On 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Welcome to the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. I'm your host, Teagan Witko. You can feel free to watch the stream to sportscage.com, our YouTube channel as well, and join the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. Let us know how you're feeling about this big win for the Green and White 2025 Grey Cup champs, 112th edition. It's fun. We got a packed house in here now. We got Kolten behind the board, making sure everything is running. We got Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, to my left. Across the table, we got the legendary Grey Cup champ himself, former Rider running back, Wes Cates. And on the line, 3 Down Nation's own Justin Dunk. Boys, I didn't even know where to start here when I sat down this morning and started rewatching some of that game because there's just so much to take in. But Justin, I think we got to start with Trevor Harris, right? 39 years old, first Grey Cup as a starting QB. What does this mean for his legacy?
It cements his legacy as a Canadian Football Hall of Fame quarterback. To me, there's no doubt about it, especially with how high he ranks on the career passing yardage list. And then the way that he painted this masterpiece last night, almost with a major blemish. I know Rider Nation might not want to hear it, but I think Trevor Harris should send KB and Ento a Christmas card because that was almost a gifted pick six. Trevor Harris and I went back and forth in the interview, and he's like, "Are you sure that just wasn't a bat down?" He was obviously joking. But after Trevor Harris got settled in late in the first quarter, it was a Trevor Harris that we've seen all season long. Took what was there from the defense, made some timely throws. Samuel Emelis made some key plays for this football team to help in touchdown drives, and then that 31-yard catch late in the game to help eat some clock. So I think that was really a Trevor Harris performance that we're used to seeing. We shouldn't be surprised.
One quote that stuck out to me last night: stuck between retirement and hitting my prime. So he's avoided publicly discussing whether or not he's going to be back for another one. But I don't know. What do you think, Justin? Is he going to be returning?
I didn't get the sense that following Trevor Harris around postgame for literally as long as I could, that it was somebody that was stepping away from the game. Now, Wes Cates could speak to this better, but it wasn't like he was overcome with emotion. Just didn't have that feel to it. And I also didn't feel like it was the right time to ask him about his future. Jeremy O'Day told 3 Down Nation, our JC Abbott, that he wants Trevor Harris back, that he'll give him 24 hours after the win. So that time is elapsing pretty quickly before he starts contract negotiations with Trevor Harris on an extension. He's a pending free agent, of course. And then sources that I've talked to that are close to Trevor Harris say that he will go about it just as he has last year. Right? He's going to talk to the coaching staff. He's going to talk to Jeremy O'Day. He's going to talk to his agent, and he's going to talk to his family, most importantly, and then make a committed decision. But I did not get the sense that that was Trevor Harris's last football game, especially as you alluded to. That quote is great. He doesn't have to retire. And here's the other thing. He talked about how good his offensive line was and that he didn't even really need to wear shoulder pads. I don't think he even took a hit. So where else are you going to find this good of a team that could potentially run it back? I shouldn't even say that. In terms of your life, how much more fun are you going to have? And then perhaps, earn $500,000? Seems like a pretty good gig to me.
Wes, what do you think?
You might as well keep it going as long as you want. I think he was really just saying, let's put it this way, this about a month from now, depending on how he's feeling, because he's the type of guy, he takes care of his body. He's really into it. His family's still young, so it's not like he's ripping and running, chasing his kids all over with their events. So I think it's really just about him still having that desire to train and prepare. And he seems like the type of guy that will have it for a few more years. So that's why I think he said, or maybe, being at the start of my prime, because as long as he stays injury free, the way he plays the game, he's not a running quarterback. He doesn't really chuck it deep. So I see his attributes or strength and stuff like that staying within his game so he can play it out, kind of like a Tom Brady. He can be in his 40s and still play at the same level because he's more about accuracy and timing and that sort of thing. So for sure, I think the biggest question is not if Trevor's going to be back, but which of these receivers are we going to be able to get back? I know Dunk probably knows, but there's four receivers that did enough to entice other teams to try to come get him. So, like, are we paying him? Are we not? Or what? What's the deal there?
Okay, before we get that then with the receivers, Wes.
Yeah.
So about 2,000 people showed up at the rally today at Mosaic Stadium, and when Trevor Harris came up to the microphone, what was the chant? MVP, and then the next chant was one more year. Mm-hmm. And so the fans obviously sense it, but Luke and I have had this conversation off the air, and when do you know it's the right time to retire? So when you decided to step away from the game, what was that turning point? Because Trevor Harris is an opportunity right now to go out on top, right? And for Luke, what he says to me is that it was important that he went out on his terms, that nobody told him he couldn't play anymore, that he decided he didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if I had that luxury. Like, obviously, I was trying to re-sign with the Riders, but my body was getting kind of banged up. Looking back on it now, I realized, like, I sprained my foot my last season, and we had a bad year, and my shoulder was basically getting worse every season. So for me, it was kind of like once I didn't get that re-sign, like didn't re-sign with the Riders, I kind of was like, yeah, I don't really want to chase a contract somewhere else. I did have an opportunity actually to go to Hamilton because Henry Burris called me. Can't remember the name of their running back, but tore his ACL in camp, so they were calling backs to see if anybody wanted to come out, and actually Henry Burris called, and I had always wanted to play a season with Burris, but I was like, yeah, heart ain't in it, body ain't feeling right, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Plus, it was Hamilton, right? So, I understand that. So, Dunk, how important are the receivers re-signing to maybe swaying Trevor Harris to play another year if he so chooses?
I don't think that matters a lot. Dave, we talked about it, and there was a lot of talk about it during Grey Cup week, that Trevor Harris just hits the open guy. I mean, he definitely likes throwing to Samuel Emilus. There's no doubt about that. But Samuel Emilus, his resume, the season that he had, yes, he was injured, but when he was in the lineup, was productive. Now to go along with the Grey Cup game where he caught all 10 targets for over 100 yards to win Most Valuable Canadian, he's going to be a hot commodity on the market. Like, people are saying that this guy could command $250,000. And there are some connections that you can draw, right? Look at the Montreal Alouettes. That's where he's from. Perhaps they would be interested in bringing him in and pairing him with Tyson Philpott. The great thing, though, for the Riders is that they've built depth here. So if, let's say, Kean Schaffer-Baker doesn't come back, well, Joe is under contract on a rookie salary. Same for Del Duncan-Busby. I think potentially you might be able to convince Mitchell Picton to come back. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. He was pretty emotional leading into that Grey Cup win. But what I'm saying is the Riders have options. I think they're going to have to make some decisions on who to prioritize, and those decisions might be made in terms of, okay, who's on the field most for us? And I think at just talking to people around the league, you're probably going to have to decide Dante Myers or Keyshawn Johnson. Joe Robustelli might come in at a little bit more of a value, so we'll have to see how those decisions shake out. But first and foremost, it needs to be decided. And I don't necessarily know if it will be a full month, Wes, before Trevor Harris decides. Like last year, the decision was made within a few weeks. I think it was early December when he re-signed. So you got to figure out, Trevor Harris, is he back or not? How much are we spending at quarterback? And then you can look at the other positions.
Because there are quite a few pending free agents. I mean, not even just when it comes to the receiving corps, but
Over
also
40.
Yeah. So this could potentially look like a very different club next year. Jeremy O'Day have his work cut out for him, maybe?
That's the way it always is with championship teams.
Well, yeah, you win and people come knocking.
Everybody's played well, and everybody's kind of added into the success of the team. So everybody deserves a bump. You wish you could pay everybody, but you can't. So that's when GMs really have to get to work.
It's funny. I'm looking at the chat line. People are suggesting, like Steve says, got to make sure you keep the offensive line together. Same as what Nathan is saying. We've got others saying that, you've got to go ahead and look at the receiving core and who he's going to throw to and who he isn't. So obviously I would suggest that Trevor Harris and his decision on his future is going to be number one. What is number two? AJ Ouellette's contract is up. Jameer Thurman in the linebacking core. Like, there's, again, I don't know, maybe there's one A, B, C, D, E, and F. I wouldn't want to be Jeremy O'Day for any of that.
I think Sam
just knock it down the priority list, I think. Sam Emilus, I think, should be a priority on offense. Yeah. But you look at the offensive line, Dave. So Peyton Collins, he's a rookie. He's going to still be on that deal, right? Travion Tate, you should be able to get him back if you really wanted him to at a decent rate, fair for both sides. Logan Ferland's probably going to want to stay at home. Who else are we missing there? Jacob Bramer.
Yeah.
I would need to double check on his contract if he's up or not, if he signed a 2-year or 3-year entry contract. And I think you have to bring Jamarcus Hardrick back. Now, the Riders broke the bank to do that initially. And I think he's still worth it. He told me personally during Grey Cup week that he wants to play until he's 40 to try to keep up with Stanley Bryant. So I think you try to bring that offensive line back. Trevor Harris probably at a reasonable rate. AJ Ouellette could continue to slot in at around $150,000. He's the highest paid American running back in the league. And then you make some of the other decisions. And another layer to this is the fact that the Riders have built, Dave, you know this well, such great depth on this football team that there are players on the practice roster Rider Nation might not know a lot about, or we've only seen a little bit, that could come and play a major factor in this. So I think you got to look at re-signing those key guys, those key leaders. Corey Mace is going to want to have Jameer Thurman back, especially with the way that he played this season. And then you're going to work on down from the stars.
So you mentioned Sam Emilus obviously being maybe a target, if you will, if you want to call him that, of the Montreal Alouettes, right? Again, if I know that he's available, I might want to go after him. Like, there's got to be some other guys that probably fall into that category as well. So how much staying in one place? You talked about, okay, I want to play with the Riders. I put the words you didn't want to go to Hamilton into your mouth. But again, how much loyalty is there when you're a player in free agency?
I think, honestly, Hamilton was close to where I'm from. It was like 6-7 hour drive.
Yeah.
If my body was feeling good, I would have went.
Really?
And I thought Henry Burris was the most talented quarterback that I ever played with. Everything considered. Like, Durant is competitor, and he got there eventually. But I didn't win with Durant. I run with Kerry Joseph. But at the end of the day, I thought Henry Burris was the best quarterback, and I did always kind of want to play with him. And, that was the opportunity. And I was just like, man, if my foot would have been feeling better, I probably would have tried to go. But it was injuries. It kind of was like, this is probably a good time for me to stop.
Can we clip that up where Wes said that he prefers Henry Burris over Darian Durant? We just want to bring that up in 5. Just, call back real quick.
No, I think some of these decisions, I was just going to say, are going to come down to playoff bonuses, right? You could go to guys and say, okay, this is kind of how Winnipeg has done it the last few years. And Corey Mace has proven it. Both years he's been there. They've made the playoffs, got all the way to the Grey Cup and won it this year. You can say, okay, you take 10 or 20,000 less to stay, but you're going to make that back in playoff money. And hey, do we want to become, like, for example, Trevor Harris? I don't think anybody's talked about this yet. I'm Trevor Harris. It's great to get one and be the 5th Riders quarterback ever to win a Grey Cup. But he could have a chance if he comes back to be the first quarterback in Riders franchise history to win 2 Grey Cups as a starter. Like, he's a legend now, but that takes you to another level if you can do that. So if you bring that pitch around to the guys and even say, hey, there has never been a team in Saskatchewan Roughriders franchise history that has gone back-to-back. You want to take 10 or 15,000 less? Or, hey, perhaps the marketing money, that's uncapped. We'll get you some extra marketing money there. We'll try to go back-to-back and win in Calgary.
There's going to be some difficult decisions that have to be made in this offseason, but not only for the green and white, obviously. We heard a lot of information throughout Grey Cup week, including the fact that we're only a few weeks away now from the schedule being released for 2026. But I also think that there's going to be some other conversations that need to be had, specifically in Toronto, is what I'm thinking, with the Dinwiddie move there, Justin.
Indeed. Are you looking for some inside info?
If you're willing to share. I got to ask.
Rider Nation, you ready for this? Yeah, you do have to ask. There's a piece waiting on 3downnation.com to be finished, so you can check it out there. But the name that I've heard the most will be familiar to those in Rider Nation. It's a former Grey Cup winning head coach. Y'all got any guesses?
Kent Austin.
Oh, David for the win.
Oh, I didn't think I got it right. I'm like, woo. Right on. Okay. 3 hours sleep, Thomas. Let's go.
Kent Austin.
So if you go look at the history, Keith Pelly was a president and CEO of the Argos in 2004 when Kent Austin was hired as the offensive coordinator. That year, those two won a Grey Cup together. I've been told that Pelly wants to hire somebody that he knows, and this sounds like, by all accounts to me, that it's going to be Keith Pelly's decision, not Michael Pinball Clemens, not John Murphy. And I'm not saying Ken Austin's going to come, because here's the situation. He's at Auburn. Hugh Freeze has been fired, and there's still 1 year left on his contract with a pretty hefty price tag. But somebody put it to me, if there is a situation where Ken Austin, let's say, gets bought out of that contract and then can come up here and, take that American money sort of up front, let's say, and perhaps coach the Argos, it's something that I'm told at least he's listening to. I'm not saying he's going to be the head coach in Toronto, but Keith Pelly wants to make a splash. And you talk to people around the league, and it's like, well, who else could you get to do that? I think Ken Austin could be that splash, that name that has cachet in the Canadian Football League to perhaps end up in Toronto. So there you go, Teagan. Good thing you asked.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm trying to give up any money, though, to come up here and coach.
No, you won't give up money. You just negotiate a buyout.
Yeah.
And then you come up here and you make your money in the CFL. I wouldn't be giving up money either. I don't think his agent wants to do that as well.
Can you tell me this then, Wes? So, again, Luke and I spent a lot of time in a car in Winnipeg, and that has good and bad singing connotations written all over it. But the other thing, we talked a lot about his decisions in his football career. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that he talked about was when he was a free agent and left Saskatchewan and went to Montreal, and what he was weighing when it came to pros and cons back in 2013. So when you're a free agent, right? And Justin, I'm going to get your comments on that CFLPA report card and maybe how big of an influence that is on prospective free agents. But what are you looking for in free agency? Is it all about the dollar?
No, definitely not. It's if you're doing it right, if you're thinking about it, it's about how much you're spending to live where you're at. It's about the contract. I think it's about am I getting fair money for where my stats are or where my stats have been, right? And if I've been healthy and if I'm second in numbers, then I should be second in money, at least. If not, oh, we believe in you, let's make you first type of stuff, right? So I think that's number one. But then you gotta also, if you're in an actual competition where you're getting multiple offers, then you got to start thinking about, okay, how comfortable is my family, if that's a factor, how much am I paying to live in said city, and how much am I going to enjoy it. You think about all of that, but I would say those first two mainly is how much I'm spending and how much I'm getting compared to other guys at my position.
CFLPA report card, how important, Justin?
I think it's become a little bit more important for the players because, like in Calgary, there wasn't any hot breakfast and really just I don't even know, cereal and some old bagels and Egg McMuffins being served. And you want to be treated like a professional. So I think, for a couple of reasons, if we're going to focus it on Saskatchewan, the Roughriders have some advantages there. The facility is absolutely spectacular. The weight room is awesome. The whole area where, the team uses there on that level at Mosaic Stadium is totally first class. And then the cost of living in Regina is very low compared to other cities in the country like Toronto, Montreal, BC, or specifically Vancouver, I should say. And that's a factor. You talk to the longtime Canadian agents in this league, and Wes, you could speak to this as a former player. They'll tell you that they have to educate, especially their American clients, about the tax implications of signing with the team. So, there could be a big offer that comes in from Toronto, which is great, but it might need to be $15,000 more than the offer the Riders put on the table, let's say in Toronto, and I'm ballparking here. I'm not an accountant, but I know a couple. Then you would need that money for it to actually be on the table for you to make that move to make some money, because the taxes and the living expenses and everything's so much different.
Exactly.
A lot of conversations need to be taking place this offseason, that's for sure. And again, I'm looking forward to the fact that we aren't going to be waiting until we're weeks out from the start of the 2026 season to know exactly when teams are playing and where. So that was a win, I think, that came out of the State of the League address. Any other wins on your mind there, Justin, or anything else that really stood out to you there?
From Stuart Johnston?
Yeah, other than getting booed on the field.
Wins? It sounds like he was booed everywhere. And he went in Winnipeg. No, that was boo. It was definitely booze, man. Yeah. Let's be real, okay? I think overall, we talked about this on the 3 Down podcast with my colleagues John Hodge and JC Abbott. We gave him a B for his first State of the League address. But it seems that he's still tone deaf with the rule changes. He's getting booed, right? They limited his fan State of the League to 150 fans. They won't tell you why, but I think we all understand why that happened. It used to be a wide open event when Randy Ambrosi and past commissioners did it, where all these fans could show up. Now, in those events, would all the fans get their question answered? No. So this is a little more intimate experience. I get it. But Stu needs to read the room a little bit. After all, these are your fans and, most importantly, your customers. So I'm not saying you got to go back and change the rule changes, but you have to show them that you're heard. And he said in the State of the League that he feels like all the fans are in favor of the rule changes. We know. That's just honestly flatly not the case. There were some wins, though. It does seem like Quebec City is intriguing as a potential expansion location. He did tell me flat out when I asked him about U.S. expansion in terms of connecting it to the rule changes that that's not their goal at this time. Now, I like to say this, words, actions, do they match up? Let's see if that's actually the case. But he did talk specifically about Quebec City. The league's going to be getting, Teagan, you asked him this to your credit, a new website, a new app. The stats are supposed to be all smooth. Again, words and actions. We'll see if that actually happens. So there were some wins in the State of the League address, but the rules are just still such a hot topic.
And I have a feeling that conversation's not going to die down anytime soon. But he really did double down. You know what? I guess I'll give him that. But Justin, that is really all I had for you, boys. Anything else you want to grill him on before we get more inside information?
Good call. Way to catch yourself on that. We're not grilling anybody here. But
hey, you can grill me if you want. I'm cool with it. I'll take the heat.
Wow. Well, actually, I don't really have much. The only thing I wanted to get your perception of was the State of the Union address. I've never taken it in until this week. And at times, I felt that it was, I don't want to say standoffish, like the Union very much, and Solomon Elamimian and David Mackey wanted to give the portrayal that things are better between the league and the players than they ever have been before. That was the outstanding message. But when it came to the rule changes, you could sense the frustration. And the other piece that stood out to me is gambling in sport right now. And their ears perked up when they learned that the CFL investigated 5 instances last season where there potentially could have been game tampering items, if you will. They didn't really elaborate on that, but their ears perked up, right? If you know what I mean. And they were some upset that they didn't even hear about it until the State of the Union or State of the League from Stu Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we cleared that one up through our 3 Down Nation crew after. It was essentially just big amounts being placed that raised red flags that they looked into, and everything was fine. So that's why it wasn't communicated to the Canadian Football League Players Association. So I think that one is, packaged and put away. But to your first point, over the years, the relationship, I think, improved much slower than the CFLPA wanted it to. Like, for example, Dave, I know it was your first time there. That wasn't usually how the Commissioner's State of the League and then the CFLPA State of the Union was structured. It used to be the Commissioner's State of the League, and that was it. And the PA would do their own State of the Union, kind of at a random other place. So the fact that the CFL has now said, okay, the Players Association, you can go right after Stuart Johnston because all the media is there, and use, I don't want to say the CFL space, but use the space that we've set up, is a win for the players. I do think the communication has improved to a degree, but to your point, it was very clear that the PA also was not happy that they were not at least given a voice about the rule changes, which that can go out to a lot of people because it's just really the Board of Governors and a select few in the CFL front office. So I would say overall, the relationship has improved. It does sound like the PA, for example, is getting the financial reports and being able to audit them without filing a grievance, which is a step even from a year ago, because that's how they had to get the numbers to audit them to get the $400,000+ bump on the cap. Hopefully Stuart Johnston can keep it going because, ultimately, Wes, I'm sure you would agree, the players need to be treated as a true partner of the league. They're actually a stakeholder in the league as part of CFL Ventures now. And without the players, there's no product. There's no league.
Yeah, that's something we always struggle with because they pretty much controlled all our likeness and everything when I was playing. I don't know how much has changed from now, but I did want to ask you about Stu Johnston and if you think that he can extend an olive branch or if it gain some grace from the fans by maybe walking back a couple of the rules, or do you think he's stuck with the rules he announced, like he can't adjust them at all?
I think if he went back on the rules that he wants to implement in 2027, that the fans would probably stop booing him. And I think even just a small olive branch. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's only 2, right? So the 2026 rules I think are fine. Mostly it's the 2027 rules that are changing the way that the game is going to look. I think the olive branch, at least to start that process, would be to say, hey, okay, I understand your concerns. What don't you like? And perhaps try to gather some hard data. And I don't think we're necessarily going to see it until we get closer to 2027 or even leading into 2026, because a lot of these fans online and that we've talked to are saying, I'm done with the CFL. I'm going to cancel my season tickets. So does that actually happen? We'll have to see.
Okay, I'm going to ask Wes the how part of the question, and then, Dunk, you get the why part of the question. So it was very clear and apparent if you spoke with anyone, and I had an opportunity to talk with Ryan Dinwiddie, who happened to be at the CFL Awards night, right? Whether he was talking to Coach Mace or whether he was talking to Jason Moss, they are all against the cap on coaching, and they did not like that at all. So at any point, this is going to sound ridiculous, did you, coming from the American college system, coming and being developed in those programs, when you got to the CFL, did you feel you were undercoached?
Undercoached?
Yeah, because we don't have enough coaches. We don't have enough to teach the players, and it's a big issue in the game, is what some would argue.
I would say there was times when I've undercoached. That's a tough one, because I never really felt like I got coached a ton on anything I didn't already know because of who my dad is. But I will say that my coach in Calgary worked me in a lot of ways that I never had. I thought he was a great coach, and then. Yes, there's coaches, but you could always use a couple more coaches. But I'd hate the salary cap. It just makes no sense, because you want guys to be able, the salary for the time, it doesn't, you can't even sustain a family on that. If you're expecting people to move their family to come and do some coaching in a professional league, you need to be thinking about 2 income salary type numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's nowhere near what the CFL is providing to most of their coaches.
So why is there a stance then not to change it? Why leave it in place, Doug?
I think it's because teams in the past were paying out a bunch of money, and it's their own fault, really, to coaches and football operations people that weren't working for them anymore. Now, that's on the teams because they signed them to those guaranteed contracts. But if you break it down and look at the terms, okay, you're under the current football operations cap allowed to spend, I think, around the pandemic, I'm just trying to pull the number off the top of my head, it was $2.6 million for 25 people. So 11 coaches, 14 football operations staff. I think even, the video people count that. There's some stipulations on that. But let's just look at the top of it, okay? Let's say your head coach and your GM combined are making $800,000, which would be pretty usual in the CFL. But for easy math, let's call it $1 million. You're taking 2 guys for almost half the cap, or getting close to half the cap, and then you have 23 other people, and the people at the bottom end don't even really have a proper living wage. So how are they supposed to develop as a coach who's in the pros, professional football? I think that's the main issue that Corey Mace had with it, and to his credit, he answered concisely about how he felt about it. He just says literally, get rid of it, in only the way that he can talk about it. But you understand, because he's looking at it as a Canadian going, okay, I know what my road was like largely before this football operations cap was implemented. It was probably hard even then, but now it's even harder for young coaches, like a Josh Donnelly, who's with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, to get in. He is like a rarity now because he's such a young coach that has just shown so well to earn an opportunity. But there's other coaches out there that would like that opportunity. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be earned. You don't want to be giving these away. But the money just sort of precludes some of that because you, as Wes said, you can't feed your family, or you can't, create that life that you envision for yourself.
Well, for more off-season news as it comes, make sure that you check out JDunk12 on Twitter, and of course follow along at 3downnation.com. Looks like we got the scoop on a little something today, so we appreciate that, buddy.
You bet. Thanks for having me on, guys. Good to chop it up.
All right. We'll talk soon. Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation. Of course, Wes Cates still joining us in studio. Maybe we can hold him hostage here for another few minutes and pick his brain a bit more on last night's game. But I'm Teagan Witko, your Monday host of the Sports Cage, alongside Dave Thomas. By the way, we do have someone here asking, Dave, if you're able to write a sick note so they can go to the parade tomorrow? You have that power, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Maybe
For
Wes.
sure.
Maybe if you get Wes and Dave on there, then your boss just can't refuse.
You put Wes's name. We'll get Wes to sign it. It's worth something, right? Like, there you go.
Yeah, a little appearance fee on top of that. I'll come grab you out of the office.
Yeah, that's right.
We will draw up some type of contract. How about that? No, lots of people texting in. Feel free to join the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. A lot of people telling me that they're without voices and quite sleepy today, but it's all for a good reason if you're a Rider fan. So why don't we take a quick break and we'll be back on the other side. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports and Rider Nation on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Well, tonight you have the Oilers traveling to Buffalo to take on the Sabres. Canucks are in Florida to face the Panthers, and then the Habs are taking on the Blue Jackets. NFL wrapping up Week 11 as well. You got the Dallas Cowboys in Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. And your Saskatchewan Roughriders, 2025 Grey Cup champions, and the 112th Grey Cup against the Montreal Alouettes yesterday in Winnipeg. The parade is going to be taking place at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Start lining the Green Mile at Albert Street and 13th starting at 2, and then the celebration will begin at the Ledge right around 3 o'clock, and it should wrap up at 4. Now, we were just talking about the fact that Stuart Johnston, not exactly the warmest reception during Grey Cup week in Winnipeg. Now, we've seen this before. It's not like everybody loved Randy Ambrosie. Okay, this is nothing brand new. But there was a player on Saskatchewan, Dave, who I understand thought that he was being chirped at by the fans, but he might have just misunderstood.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you, Wes, if there's ever a situation where you were chirped to that extent, but when Prime Minister Carney was on the field for the anthem, it was right in front of the Riders bench. So the fans in behind the Riders bench were not very pleasant towards our Prime Minister. And so from everything from you're ruining our country to, where you're lucky you're down there. And, it like apparently got really over the top. And so Malik Carney forgot that the Prime Minister's name was Carney. So all these people are yelling, Carney, Carney. And so he thought it was at him, and he was getting quite concerned, right? So fortunately, someone clued him in and said, no, it's the Prime Minister. Everything is good. Everybody had a good laugh after the fact. But anything like that for you?
Directly towards me, not really. I remember there was a couple of guys in BC that used to always heckle me the whole game. But they were kind of fun. They would just try to get my attention. And then when I acknowledged them, then they just go back to cheering, for the Lions and bug me a little more. But anyway, I do remember as a rookie in Calgary coming out here to Saskatchewan and hearing some fans it would have been during the early hours. So it would have been like an hour before the game. And these guys were calling Hank Burris everything under the sun, talking about his wife Nicole and stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I can handle that. That's a little
intense. That's
a little spicy.
Yeah,
I felt like I was blushing. But anyway,
takes a lot for that to come out of Wes's mouth. I was blushing. What? I
was like, come on now, that's a little extra. But yeah, it happens.
I mean, CFL fans are passionate, Dave.
Yeah. It was old though. We're more sophisticated Rider fans
are we?
now. We'll
for the
just
most
say
part.
It's like Johnston. You just say it and then it becomes true, right? It's like the Trump effect. Just keep saying it.
So when zeros were on the clock and you knew that there was a new class to join your very exclusive club of having won a Grey Cup championship with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Luke had a little tear in his eye. He got a little emotional. What was it like for you?
I didn't get emotional, but I was happy for him. It's like, I don't know. It's like when you see, because you know what it takes, you know the work that's put in, and you see the younger guys having their time, you're like, there you go. Way to get it done. And I was just hoping Trevor Harris could get it done because he's an Ohio kid. I'm from Ohio. I'm calling him a kid. He's from Ohio. I'm from Ohio. And he's just put the work in, and I knew he was talented enough to do it. And he's one of those guys that has such a great career that you want him to have the ring, you know what I mean, to put the stamp on it, like to kind of finish it, because everybody always tries to hate on guys that don't have rings, right? So I just wanted to see him get his ring. Everybody else is like almost like they were just getting another, as far as the vets go. But for him, it was his first as a starter, and I was like, there you go, Trevor.
Yeah.
Well, a big celebration going to be happening in downtown Regina tomorrow as they have their Grey Cup parade. Something we can't say we've seen in Regina for a dozen years. It's going to be pretty exciting, and we will send you, what is it, Venmo, PayPal, whatever it is for us to get Wes to send you that sick note, Declan. We're working on it, okay? I haven't forgotten about you. Join the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. Looks like we got to take a break here, gentlemen. We'll be back shortly. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Yes, welcome to the Grey Cup Monday edition of the Sports Cage. I'm Teagan Witko with your voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas. We got Kolten behind the board and rider legend Wes Cates with us as we talk about everything that was yesterday and digest this win for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Yep, make it 5, Rider fans. And the Monday edition of the Sports Cage is brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years, local and trusted. Kellen Solar, visit kellensolar.com. Now, here's the thing. I understand that, Wes and I were here last night for the post-game show. I don't know about you. I'm not going to speak for Wes, but I'm a little tired. Dave Thomas, I think, literally came screeching in on 2 wheels from the flight this morning, so it's been a quick turnaround for you.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Luke's driving. No, Luke was a great driver.
I've never driven with him.
No. You know what? It was a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind, right? Like it goes quick, but what a ride it's been.
Yeah,
end of the day, right?
What a ride indeed. Now, Dave Thomas, he was in Winnipeg all week for the Grey Cup festivities, and you were there on field level last night. And obviously, because it was such a tight turnaround, it's Monday right after the game, the Riders coaches are a little occupied. They're a little busy today. Mm-hmm. But you did speak with them last night.
Yeah, I did on the field. I had an opportunity, and it was pretty raw, pretty emotional. As before they went to see the dressing room, they came down and talked to me. So, yeah, we had a great chat. So, in lieu of the coaches show today, we bring you the coach, the GM, and another player show.
Yes. So, it is still technically the coaches show, right?
Yeah.
We're going to call it that anyway. Okay, let's get into it. It's for Steelcraft Doors and the Saskatchewan Roughriders Foundation. So we'll start off with Mark Mueller in 2 seconds.
Mark Mueller, we're a couple of Sasky guys at the end of the day. This is a dream come true, huh?
This is awesome. To win it with this group of people, that's really special. I'm really happy for these guys. They've earned it.
Tell me about your offense, man. They just seem to turn it up or whatever. They found that niche, and they just seem to take over the ball game in the second and third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they work hard. They love each other. They believe in each other. And I'm so happy to be a part of them and be their teammate.
There is no weak link because everyone seems to pull that chain the same direction. How rare is that?
It's amazing to be a part of. I mean, these guys work hard. They help each other out. I mean, it takes everybody to win. We always talk about offense. It takes all 12, and these guys bought in.
You and Corey came before the start of last season with a vision, and I remember vividly there was one shot of Corey looking up at that wall in the north end of Mosaic Stadium where there were 4 numbers. There's going to be a 5th year added to that wall. What does that mean that you're a big part of that?
It means it's amazing. It'll be something that we remember forever, and this group of guys get to be remembered forever.
Go celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Of course, that was our own Dave Thomas exclusively having a conversation with offensive coordinator Mark Mueller on field level after the Grey Cup win last night. Wes, I don't really think that we got into this too much, but that play calling was impressive by Mark Mueller last night.
Yeah, I think he heard me in the pregame show. No, I was talking about in the pregame show that I really hope that they got AJ Olette going and that they really ran the screen game a little bit, kind of to get Montreal chasing and get the receivers involved physically, like blocking for each other, that sort of thing. That can kind of backfire because receivers tend to be some of the weaker blockers on the team, but it does get them engaged and more in tune to the game if they're not getting targets, right? So I think that start to the game kind of worked to perfection. And then, like I mentioned in the pregame, I was like, I hope they let it lie in Trevor's lap a little bit, let Harris sling it around the yard a bit, and he did just that. And then Emilus was looking great. I think he could be the best receiver in the league, so we should pay him. And the defense, everybody was healthy for that defense, and they flew around. Obviously, it's a good game. Montreal has great coaching, and Davis Alexander is a competitor. He showed that because the defense really was, turning them over and doing everything that they could to get that win, and he still found a way to kind of pull it together and make it close. So I think it all kind of worked out the way it was supposed to, but I was really impressed with the way the offense, kind of were balanced, hit them heavy with the run game and then aired them out late to get critical first downs. Yep.
If you look at it, okay, so from the outsider's perspective, right, I can look at the numbers and I can see the Saskatchewan Roughriders in 2025 scored the second fewest first quarter points in the league. And there is an amazing synergy between Mark Mueller and Trevor Harris. Can the slow starts be chalked up to, hey, they come out and they visualize, they dissect, they analyze what that defense is going to present in the first 15 minutes, and then they take advantage of it the rest of the way? Is that wrong?
Yeah, they kind of. I think you're onto something, Dave. I think they kind of slow roll it, play it out. It definitely makes you mad as a fan because you're like, what are you doing? It kind of looks like you're giving away some opportunities or kind of letting some slide. And then if the defense struggles, then it's really putting the whole team in a bind. So I think the fact that, it's a little annoying, but that was a little bit of the method to their madness of just, filling some stuff out, being a little more conservative, kind of seeing maybe what wrinkles the opponent is trying to throw at you before they really, open up the offense. And it worked. I mean, you get two weeks off at the end of the season, you have the best record, and then you go ahead and finish it off with a Grey Cup. So clearly, and one thing that used to always trip me out is I'd be mad about the way the game looked. But when I went back and looked at the stats, Trevor was always around 300 yards passing. The run game, whether it was just AJ or a combination of backs, was usually over 100. So you were getting the numbers that a solid offense is supposed to get. So the numbers don't lie.
I remember at one point Doug Flutie was quoted as saying that, and again, he was involved a lot in his own game plans, right? But he would have anywhere from 9 to 12 plays pre-scripted, that these are going to be the 9 to 12 plays that we're going to run, and we're going to run them in sequential order, maybe dictated a little bit by down and distance, but this is going to give me everything that I need to know. Did you ever encounter that?
Yeah, I would say about half of the coaches would. I mean, and then sometimes you'd have to get away from it because either one, you'd have a couple 2 and outs, so you really wouldn't get to the end of the script. But if you had a good, solid first drive or two, you just go with the script as it was written, and it would always I'd always think it was odd, but then once you got some momentum, got some movement, or actually scored off of it, you're like, guess coaches did this, film study was good this week.
Even though they didn't get paid enough to do it, right?
You got to be a little bit biased here as a former running back, Grey Cup champ yourself. 3 rushing TDs last night. Are we not giving Tommy Stevens enough love here?
I mean, Stevens is a special, kind of athlete. He's basically like a tight end, a quarterback. He's built for that role. Like if there was a guy that you would think, oh, okay, let's do short yardage QB, maybe he can, roll out and throw when he has to. It would be Tommy Stevens, right? He's like a Cam Newton type, a big body, Josh Allen type, right? And those type of guys are going to get a couple yards when you need it. So I think he's definitely one of those guys that you want to keep on your roster, try to keep happy because he's kind of a utility guy in that sense. I'm sure you could probably throw him in at tight end or or slot or fullback and maybe hand it off to him once or twice because he actually ripped off a long one against us when he was with Calgary. So he's got some sneaky wheels on him too. So he is a unique guy that you'd love to have on your roster.
Totally. I mean, between him and AJ Ouellette, that was a lot of fun to watch last night with those TDs. You know what? We should probably move along with this coaches show because I just realized we got to get to head coach Corey Mace, who Dave spoke with on the field last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, as you can imagine, very, very emotional just coming off. And actually, we talked a little bit about the first time that we met, and it was a very interesting meeting, but a great conversation.
Coach, I'm not going to forget the first time that we met was at a Regina Chamber of Commerce luncheon. And there's this guy that pulls this PowerPoint up with the pillars that he wants to build the foundation of this team. And I thought, what is this happening with a PowerPoint presentation? You're now a Grey Cup champion. Pretty damn good presentation.
I mean, hell, listen, the presentation is, those are just words on a slide. It takes these guys to live those things out, and they've done nothing but commit to that since the first time that we all came together last year and carrying over to this year. It's our ethos, man. It's who we are. It's beyond culture. It's just who the hell we are, and this is what it could look like if we stick to our plan.
Can you feel the province of Saskatchewan cheering?
I can hear Pilsner's being open from here, baby. Let's go.
One more. Tell me about this group, man. How special are they? You look at everything that they go through for one another, and it filters through you and the rest of the coaches.
Yeah, listen, this is such a close group. They love each other, man. Our kids, all of our kids know all the guys. Our kids play together. I told them last night, all those guys are superheroes to my children, man. We love each other. What a group.
Grey Cup champion. Congrats.
Thank you very much, Dave. Thank you.
Head coach Corey Mace, now a Grey Cup winning coach with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, exclusively speaking with Dave Thomas down there on field level. Can we give a little love to the offensive line, though? Because at one point, Justin mentioned it earlier, Trevor Harris said, I didn't even feel like I needed to be wearing shoulder pads.
You know what's funny about this is I was talking to Nick Lewis about this. He's coached in the CFL, top receivers in the league. He lives in Regina. Anyway, I was like, why don't more teams just stack their Canadian receivers and put more American O-linemen out there? And he was like, the American O-linemen don't really come up here that much. So I don't know what the heck Jeremy O'Day is promising. But, I do like the fact that they were able to start. And then Furlan's a stud. I feel like he could be top Canadian O-lineman, top O-lineman in the league, right? To be a center and to kind of mature as he has, man, it's really impressed me. And he had a great group around him, and they were solid. I mean, they dominated that game quietly, and people haven't talked about them. And then Peyton Collins, Ohio kid, come on now, left tackle, it's gonna happen.
Well, okay, so talk about under the category of a good problem to have, right? Mm-hmm. Logan Furland loves playing guard. He played center all year because of Sean McEwen. Now, Sean McEwen, I believe, signed a one-year deal. Logan Furland re-upped and has got another year left on his contract. So would you be tempted to mess with that offensive line? So if Sean McEwen comes back, then who are you going to bump? Because Furland, you'd assume, would go to guard, but Jacob Bramer was all CFL at right guard. And then on the left side, you got young Peyton Collins, who's on a rookie deal, and then Travion Tate, who came back from injury and was playing, as Luke calls it, an all-NFL level. What do you do? That's a good problem to have, I'm guessing.
Yeah, for sure. I think it comes down to where people are at in their contracts, and then, if you can fit bringing them all into camp, then kind of let them battle it out. Then maybe you have a good trading piece for maybe an injury that happens at another position, or if one position is looking weak, right?
Sure.
But I also think that there's something to be said about the coaching staff, because we look back early on in the season. What was the biggest talking point when it came to injuries for the Saskatchewan Roughriders? It was the O-line. It was the O-line. Constant shifting, moving, readjusting, plugging, playing. In the back half of the season, that wasn't necessarily an issue. They kind of got healthy. They found their groove. But is it necessarily where they're playing on that O-line? Or is it really just who is the leader charging in front?
I feel like it depends on the O-lineman. Guys don't like to move. The fact that Furland's moved around as much as he had in his young career and been good, I think it's always impressive to have a guy playing center and then being able to play somewhere else, because you gotta know more about the defense as the center, because you kind of set the mic or decide who the mic is going to be, and then the rest of the O-line knows who they're blocking based off of that. You got to snap it back there. You got to kind of be in tune with the quarterback in the huddle or the snap count, whereas everybody else can kind of just watch the ball. So you're thinking about all that, and then on top of it, when you move around positions, there's so much of a different technique to how the positions you're going to play as a defender, like guards and centers are going to deal with three techs and nose guards, those big heavy guys in the middle, and then tackles are dealing with really fast guys coming off the edge, and you got to play all that different. So it's hard to move around, but when you find guys that can move around, that's a great bonus. And yeah, you should try to keep them, but you want the guy who plays best at certain positions, really.
Can I ask a question from Tommy on the text line? Okay. So, you mentioned Tommy Stevens could be used as a tight end. Why aren't more tight ends used in the same role that they're used as in the NFL or the NCAA game? Is it because of the field size? I guess I alliterated. Tommy wants to know, why aren't tight ends used more in CFL?
I think just because there's so much space, you don't really need to create space by bringing in a bigger package. I think guys could use it. Like, honestly, one of the best offenses I was on when I was playing with Calgary as a rookie, I played like I was just big enough to kind of play the tight end role, and I used to play running back and slide and line up at fullback. And the package, because I was athletic enough to run with speed and get open in the passing game, but also strong enough to block like Tommy Stevens would be, it sometimes got us in the right mismatch where we were either playing against a smaller defense and we were able to run on them, or we were playing against a slower, heavier defense and we were able to pass on them. So I think it's something that more OCs could implement, but because of the space of the field and the opportunity to get one-on-ones with receivers and still spread it out in the run game, it's like kind of a lost art almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So why don't we move to the guy who is putting all these pieces in place, okay? This is the Riders Coaches Show for Steelcraft Doors and Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation. We got to hear from Dave on the field with Jeremy O'Day. You caught up with him last night.
Vice President of Football Operations and General Manager Jeremy O'Day, what was your thoughts when that clock hit zero?
Ecstatic, elated. We're bringing the cup back to Saskatchewan.
1-0. That was the course all year long. You go 1-0 on the biggest day. What do you say about this team?
That's our head coach. That was his motto from the get-go. We talked about the Grey Cup one time in trade cap. Until we won it today, we never talked about it again.
You believed in this group, keeping them together for another year to finish the business. How gratifying is this?
It's gratifying. It's a team of character. They're all a team of characters, and they deserve it.
I know you can feel the province's pride behind you. What's your message to the province?
Rider Nation, we're bringing the cup home.
That, of course, was your voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas, with Jeremy O'Day of the Riders, who, yes, the cup is home now. The cup is in the province. They unveiled it to the fans at Mosaic Stadium earlier this afternoon. The parade is going to be taking place tomorrow. And, man, is it going to be a riot. It's going to be a party. Get lined up on the Green Mile starting at 2 o'clock. Everything should be wrapping up. Well, they'll be at the Ledge for 3. But I also want to give a shout-out because our very own Curtis just popped in here and brought us a little something.
Yeah, so is it confetti? Is that the word you use?
That's what we're going to call it.
So there was the green and white stuff that blew onto the field and got all in my shoes, and it was the most uncomfortable my feet have been in an awful long time. But also, what was very cool, I don't know if anybody else saw it, it was right as we were wrapping up on the field, and it happened like right behind us. And so out comes AJ Ouellette and Logan Furland, and they were doing snow angels. In the confetti. In the pile of confetti at center field. It was very cool.
Well, I mean, you got to seize that opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense. Perfect sense in that moment. Yeah. I like it.
But good thinking on producer Curtis's behalf, because I would not have thought to grab that. I was just worried that we would have to use whatever was still sitting in Dave's suitcase or stinky shoes.
I would love to know.
Why they gotta be stinky?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
hey.
You were just in Winnipeg for the Grey Cup all week, and you were around celebrating players on a field last night, so I can only imagine.
I'd like to know where you got that cool jar from. It's like this in his spare time. Is he doing preserves or something? Pickling? Like, I don't know. Like,
hit him up.
It's not something that you see every day. With a young man having that kind of jar.
But you know what? He went prepared to Winnipeg. He knew that he was going to have to bring some back. Well, at least he was very ambitious that the Riders were going to be taking this one.
Last time I went on a road trip and somebody took a jar like that, you would never want to use it again.
Oh, Dave.
What? We had coffee.
Dave, okay, we're getting the break signal really. But before we do take a quick break, Wes, you've been part of these parades before. You've been part of these celebrations. Can you even describe that feeling? Can you even put it into words?
I mean, it's a party. It's like, a moving party. It's good fun. Everybody gets to come out, show their support. You get to realize how much you mean, especially in Saskatchewan, because it's always cold as heck. So, you know what I mean? When you hit the street and everybody's still out there freezing their butts off because they just want to show you how much they appreciate, want to show you some love. It's a good feeling, man. It's a good time. So, don't miss it. Get out there.
2 o'clock. Make sure you're there, okay? Green Mile comes alive yet again. All right, well, now we are going to take a quick break, actually. If you missed any of our conversations with Wes here, Justin Dunk from 3 Down Nation joined us a little bit earlier, too. You can always go back and watch in podcast form, sportscage.com. YouTube is where you're going to find the stream right now that you can watch. And, of course, we are on your radio as well. But coming up, we do have your clutch performer for Nick's service in Emerald Park. We also have Rob Vanstone, who's going to be swinging by here in just a bit. This is the Sports Cage on the home of Rider Nation. It's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. It's Teagan Witko, your Monday host of the Sports Cage, alongside voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas, as we are here to take you through this Grey Cup Monday. Right now, it is that clutch performer, though, as you heard, for Nick's service in Emerald Park. And Dave, I think this is kind of a no-brainer who we go with for our clutch performer today.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No-brainer. I have no idea who you're going to pick, but no-brainer at all.
Can I just say the Saskatchewan Roughriders organization as a whole right now, or is that a little too broad and vague?
No, I think that about hits it right there. Yeah.
Who are some of those people, just because you do have the inside information and we got a couple of minutes here, who are some of those people behind the scenes that really put in a lot of work that maybe the average fan wouldn't know about, that you'd like to specifically shout out?
Gordy Gilroy and Ty, again, they do equipment for the Roughriders. I can't imagine what they went through, having the entire team move on the road for a whole week. Again, we see it a month at a time, but then they prepare for it months in advance. The two of them do a fantastic job. You've got the Riders ticket office, of course, Jen there. She is a part of an exclusive club of one of very few members of the current team with the Saskatchewan Roughriders that can celebrate 3 Grey Cup champions. So that the entire ticket team there, Mark Habig, of course, and the work that his team does when it comes to all the great merch that you get an opportunity to see out on the street. So Greg Mayer and his staff, of course, you hear about the players that get banged up, nicked up. You don't hear about the recovery that him and the doctors and those types of people go ahead and put in. So it is a full team effort, top to bottom. So.
Well, and even when you look at the celebrations that took place at Mosaic Stadium, pardon me, this afternoon, you were telling me, I think it was Rebecca and Karina, they made the drive after the win last night so they could be here to make sure that Rider Nation was well prepared to welcome back their team for their 5th Grey Cup title in franchise history.
Absolutely. It's just a team effort all around, on and off the field, and that's what makes you successful. So, yeah, good on them. They're probably not going to hear this because they're sleeping now.
I would hope so.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I would hope so. No, those were your clutch performers for Nick's service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogainer, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. It sounds like I could use a nap, too. Call 781-1077. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the one, the only Rob Vanstone and Candy. They're in the house. I'll be right back. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. We are also home of the 112th Grey Cup champions. Your Saskatchewan Roughriders pull it off in Winnipeg yesterday, beating the Owls. I'm Teagan Witko, your Monday host of The Cage, and I'm joined alongside Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, as well as Kolten, who's keeping us on the air, and our next guest is standing by. But I do just want to thank Joan for calling me out, because we just did our clutch performers.
Oh, yeah.
And she said volunteers who show up to every single game, rain, snow.
Yeah.
Wind blowing in sideways.
1,000,000%.
I don't know how we whiffed on that.
I cannot believe I did not say the volunteers, because they are always so kind to me every time that I walk into the stadium, down towards the field. Again, hats off.
Absolutely. So another clutch performer, and you guys deserve it, all of the volunteers. Okay, now for our next guest. By the way, you can join in the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. You can also join the conversation on our stream as well, sportscage.com, YouTube. A lot of people starting to chime in here saying reality is starting to set in. Mike here on the stream says, guys, reality is really starting to set in. We actually won the Grey Cup. And that is, I think, a lot of people, is what a lot of people are saying to themselves today after that wild game last night. And here to help us break it down, normally on the Western Pizza guest hotline, but we were able to get him in the building today, Mr. Rob Vanstone, Riders historian, and you brought a friend. You brought Candy.
Yeah, I brought my beautiful dog along. I normally wouldn't put my dog in a cage, but I made an exception for the show today.
I was like, what?
That was actually pretty good because you had me guessing myself there for a second. But yes, Candy is in the house as well because Rob is fresh off of a trip to Winnipeg where the Riders just beat the Owls in the Grey Cup, which is just wild to say out loud. But I'm curious from your perspective as a guy who has followed this club for as long as you have, and you know a lot of the historical facts and some of these things that you can maybe draw parallels between for the 112th Grey Cup. In terms of legacy and Rider lore, how does it stack up?
It's unique. I think in a couple of ways. Can you be unique in two ways?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or do you just have to be unique in one way? I'm sorry, I'm sleep deprived. The audience won't be after listening to me. It's the first Grey Cup victory that accompanies a tenancy in the new stadium. And I'm really interested to see what kind of groundswell this creates. We had so many memories linked with championships in dear old Taylor Field. And even though this game wasn't played in Mosaic Stadium, we had a celebration there today. And I'm really interested to see if that what effect that has on just the allegiance to the new stadium and the attachment to it, because people went to this stadium today to celebrate a Grey Cup victory. That's a first in the life of New Mosaic Stadium. This is the first time the Roughriders have finished first overall in the Canadian Football League and won a Grey Cup. They were first in the West in 1966, 9-6-1. Ottawa was favored to win quite handily. The Roughriders of Saskatchewan won quite handily. After that, subsequently, the Riders finished third in the West in 89 and then second in 2007 and 2013. So it's the first time the Riders have won, if you will, from the pole position. And I think that makes it distinctive. I just think this whole team, it's got a story that I'm sure will be told many ways for many years. And just the mindset that's been ingrained, starting with Craig Reynolds, Jeremy O'Day, Corey Mace, Kyle Carson, Paul Jones, Larry Dean, and all the way to the Rider squad with 194 volunteers, all directed by Rob Harrison. I feel remiss in omitting anybody. If you want to omit anybody, omit me. The people I work with are amazing, and it takes everybody being integrated, and just everybody kind of has that same type of spirit that people are seeing in this edition of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's no accident they won because they were constructed with the right mentality and certainly with the requisite degree of talent and depth on top of that.
So when you look at, you mentioned it, this is the first time that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have won, calling this new Mosaic Stadium facility their home. And for some fans, I'm thinking young fans, this would be the first Grey Cup they've witnessed the Riders win in their lifetime. So when you kind of look at yesterday as a whole in that entire game, what do you think is some of the key moments or factors in that game that really need to be part of the historical story that's told?
It was neat even today outside the stadium. I looked around and there was a younger demographic, and I thought of that. There were some kids chanting, "Let's go Riders." And it's been 12 years. Those kids weren't alive the last time the Riders won a Grey Cup. And so that might be their introduction to Rider fandom. I remember being 12 years old and at the Grey Cup in 1976 with my mom. And Riders lost that one to Ottawa 23-20. And I remember thinking, are the Riders ever going to win a Grey Cup? And that was 10 years after their only Grey Cup. I didn't see the Riders win a Grey Cup till I was 25 years old. And didn't diminish my love for this team one bit, but I was kind of jealous of these young kids that got to experience it before the quarter century mark.
Yeah. I don't know how good they got it.
I was 2 the first time they won, and I'm told I did watch the game at the home of Dr. Borden Bashinsky and his wife Margaret, and their son David is the father of the current mayor of Regina. So
wow,
there's some Rider trivia. Dr. Borden Bashinsky was a Rider director in the 60s, just a great man. As far as moments in the game, Marcus Sayles all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
First Montreal pass is intercepted by Sayles. The last Montreal pass is deflected by Marcus Sayles, and he had a huge fumble recovery. Tavon Campbell with a massive forced fumble on the 1 yard line. That play, if Montreal had gone in and scored and got the 2-point conversion, my fingernails would be even in worse shape than they are now. That's such a huge play. And then on top of that, getting a couple of first downs to not drain all the clock, but make it really tough for Montreal to score. Not unlike what happened late in the 2007 Grey Cup when Wes Cates, who was just in the studio, ran for a crucial first down after the James Johnson interception and burned some valuable time. So those sales moments. One huge play I think that hasn't gotten a lot of attention. Mario Alford's kickoff return to begin the second half, 38 yards, put the Riders in excellent field position. Riders went in and scored, and to have that bit of oomph to start the second half when the Riders had won the toss and deferred, then took advantage right away. Mario Alford set the tone.
It was interesting that the Riders won the toss, by the way. It was the 10th consecutive time that the Riders took tails this season and the 9th that they won. So I had a number and I wanted to share. But
there was 1 year, there were 2 years when I was, there were 3 years actually when I was sort of the GM of my touch football team because they wouldn't think of letting me play because I was bad. And I was the coin toss guy. And there was 1 year in there where I won the toss every game. And then the league final, I lost a toss and we got smoked.
Yeah.
And then the next year I ran the table with coin tosses. I got everyone right.
Wow.
And then I went home. I should have just gone to Western Pizza after that because I'd served my purpose once I won the coin toss.
Okay.
Please go away. Don't you dare play, and don't give us any suggestions because the plays you send in are terrible.
Okay, I'm going to go and try. Okay, I don't have memories of the 1966 Grey Cup, but every Grey Cup seems to have its moment. Do you know what I mean? So in 1989, the moment that you knew the Riders were going to win was when Dave Ridgway made the kick. I would suggest in 2007, we knew the Roughriders were going to win when they got that interception from Johnson, and hey, that looked like it sealed the deal. In 2013, some would argue that moment came when Darian Durant fumbled the ball and it lands in the arms of Corey Sheets. Was there a moment yesterday, and I say yesterday, which seems like an eon ago all of a sudden, was there a moment yesterday that you knew that the Riders had it sewn up, that this was going to go their way?
Not necessarily sewn up, but when the challenge was successful for defensive pass interference, instead of a drive that ends with no points, the Riders go in and score. And I thought, well, this is a kind of good fortune the Roughriders haven't had in a lot of Grey Cups. And to see that kind of swing in the Roughriders' favor there was that gave me pause to think, okay, maybe we've got some good luck on our side here. And I couldn't feel comfortable until the last Hail Mary by Davis Alexander, and what a throw that was! And he's playing with a really wonky hamstring. They scrimmaged the ball at the 54-yard line. The ball was deflected 6 yards in the end zone, and he threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. So what was that, a 65-yard throw?
Yeah.
With a bad hamstring?
Yeah.
Amazing. And that ball seemed to be in the air forever. I remember it was in the air so long there might have been flight attendants on it. And is this thing ever going to come down? It felt like those seconds when the ball was in the air, everything froze. It was just...
Rider Nation collectively held their breath. I can tell you that.
That was so stressful.
Does Corey Mace get enough credit for being the strategist that he is? We often talk about the culture and the relationships and how he motivates his team and gets the most out of the players. But you alluded to that decision to challenge that play because you could have lost your challenge in the first quarter or second quarter, of a football game right then and there. And even you go back to the West Final. Well, I'm going to kick the field goal and I know my defense can make a couple of stops for me if we need it. Like, those are some pretty big strategic decisions that he's 2 for 2 on.
Yeah, and you look at the challenge there, and it wasn't a flagrant defensive pass interference, and I just wondered, with it being the Grey Cup, are they going to look at it and say, okay, what do they say in hockey? No autopsy, no foul.
Yeah,
and I wondered if they were going to have a really stringent standard for that, given the importance of the game, and so when that did go the Roughriders' way, that made me feel more comfortable. But I don't think Corey Mace gets enough credit because half of his job description, more of it if you look at characters, is defensive coordinator. And look who the Roughriders played in the playoffs. First, Nathan Rourke, CFL's most outstanding player, and then in the Grey Cup, Davis Alexander, who had never lost a game he'd started. So you're playing these high-powered offenses, both with tremendous receiving cores and highly touted quarterbacks, and It was the Roughriders who neutralized Nathan Rourke about as much as you're going to, and then really had Davis Alexander looking off his game for the first time I think anybody's seen since he started quarterbacking the Roughriders. And he was pressured a lot and didn't seem too sure of his reads. Yes, the hamstring played a role, but and he was remarkably mobile even with that hamstring, but they created some real tough situations for Davis Alexander, and a lot of that credit has to go to not only Corey Mace, but obviously the players on the field making the plays as they are called.
I know sometimes you need to put a face to the name. There's a good word for that, but when you've had 3 hours of sleep, you ain't going to come up with it this afternoon.
You've got 3? We have 5 between us.
So, if for the Roughriders this week and Trevor Harrison, you're going to be too modest, and I hope you don't hate me for bringing this up. But in my opinion, to humanize Rider Nation and to give the team an idea of what Rider Nation looked like, he mentioned your name twice. We're doing this for Rob Vanstone. And maybe I'm thinking too broad here, but with Luke Mullender being an alumni and a guy that's been there, done that, I could see the emotion in his eyes when zeros hit the clock and what that meant to him. What was your initial reaction when zeros hit the clock and we have won the Grey Cup?
Well, zeros hit the clock and Luke Mullender hit me.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Not maliciously, but to give me a hug. And I discovered what it is like to run into a defensive lineman.
Okay, now
any chiropractors out there? That was a wonderful moment. And Luke actually sent me a note and apologized to me. He was so pumped up about it that he thought he was a little overzealous. I thought it was my first Riders win Grey Cup 2025 memory was Luke Mullender in that collision.
Wow.
It was interesting to see that passion still burns in somebody who has won a Grey Cup as a player. And you think, okay, what can replicate winning it as a player? I can't imagine there's anything. Yet here we are, 18 years after Luke Mullender won a Grey Cup as a player, and he sees this and he is still pumped up. That really tells you something about the way he's wired and the affection that he has for this franchise, in addition to his immense skill as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
So as far as what Trevor Harris had to say, I just figured somebody had lost a bet. The offensive linemen used to have a word of the day that they would have to use during interviews. And I just thought, okay, somebody's probably planted this and says you have to mention Rob in a scrum or something. But it was very genuine of Trevor.
Yeah.
And it absolutely floored me. As I look back on it now, it doesn't necessarily surprise me as much as I shouldn't have been as surprised as I was, because that's just the kind of person Trevor Harris is. He's just a A1 human being, and I think it would be an immense success in life had he never played a down of football. Yeah. The Harris family, from Tom and Suzanne, the whole family are just amazing people, and you understand Trevor as soon as you meet his family. And for him to do that not once but twice, there's usually when we're finished interviews, and I have a recording device on my phone, and as soon as I'm finished using those interviews, I send them to my MacBook and delete the file on my phone. But the Trevor Harris Monday and Tuesday media availabilities at the airport will stay on my phone forever. It really meant a lot.
You know, we do really talk about how much this franchise and this club means to the community and to Rider Nation as a whole. And there are some of those players that really stand out. But it's also moving off the sidelines. I'm thinking about a guy like Jeremy O'Day. Dave and I spoke with him a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about how long his tenure has been with the franchise, not only in the current position that he holds, but as a player. So that's got to be pretty special, too. Has there ever been anybody else like that? I mean, the Riders have only won 5 Grey Cups, so I imagine that he's probably kind of hanging out by himself in that category.
Yeah, I mean, there's select individuals who've won, not a complete cycle of Roughrider Grey Cups, but quite a few. I mean, Ivan Gutfriend and Norm Fong, the athletic therapist and the equipment manager, and there's Richie Hall won 3 Grey Cups as a Roughrider, 1 as a player, 2 as a coach. There are examples like that. Jeremy O'Day won his 3rd as a Roughrider yesterday. And the interesting thing was, the game was played on the 28th anniversary of the first Grey Cup in which he played, and it was against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. on November 16th, 1997. He was a rookie offensive line with Toronto. And Toronto beat the Riders that day. Jeremy played his first 2 seasons in Toronto before coming to the Roughriders. You look at the length of time, 1999, like before 9/11, predates the bursts of a lot of players currently on the team.
Yeah.
I had a full head of hair, and very little of it was gray. And you look at the job Jeremy O'Day has done in multiple facets and constructing this team. And I hear from time to time, a lot of credit is given to Corey Mace, and deservedly so.
Yeah.
And this is not meant to subtract at all from the amazing job Corey has done. But somebody hired him. Corey Mace just didn't drop into the building and, hey, I'm your head coach now. He was hired by Jeremy O'Day, and that was a transformative move. And then you look at the talent that Jeremy O'Day and Kyle Carson, Paul Jones, Larry Dean have brought into this team. They've basically gone through 2 sets of offensive linemen and 2 sets of receivers.
Yeah.
And they were without a 86 catch, 1,159 yard receiver, all CFL receiver in Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah.
And did that really happen? You look at, the passing attack, you could always use a Keyshawn Johnson in there, but the Roughriders made more than made do in his absence. And for parts of the season, Samuel Emelis and Kean Schaefer-Baker weren't there.
Yeah.
And Kean Schaefer-Baker, Keyshawn's productivity helped to compensate for the lack of some weapons earlier in the year. And now some of those weapons are back, and unfortunately Keyshawn wasn't able to play, but there were so many instances where people stepped up. Tommy Neal steps up as a starter at one point in the season, and there's just no way you get him out of the lineup now. Scored one of the most memorable touchdowns in Rider history. Signed with the Riders February 3rd, and it did not make huge news. And show me a Rider fan today who doesn't know who Tommy Neal is.
What about AJ Ouellette? He had such a tough 2024 from the injury standpoint, and there was a lot of people that were quite concerned. Even you go back, the Saskatchewan Roughriders brought in Kadeem Carey at one point just to make sure, and unfortunately Carey's injury, of course, forced him to miss the remainder of the season after that game in BC in July. But what about AJ Ouellette and his resurgence and really put the team in a lot of ways on his back this playoff run?
Put a lot of would-be tacklers on his back too, and dragging him for 4 or 5 yards. And his first season as a Rough Rider was tough for him because he was battling a hip injury. If you look at the productivity that he is yards per game when he was on the field last year, there's not a huge divergence from this season. But the availability was the big thing. And he worked so tirelessly in the offseason to streamline his frame. And we saw early in the season, he had that 47-yard touchdown run in Hamilton.
Yes.
And it's just like, boom, there's the AJ Ouellette that he was expecting, that everybody was expecting. And played every game, wasn't, he got dinged, I think, in the regular season opener. Thomas Bertrand Houdon came in and played really well. From then on, AJ didn't miss any snaps unless he was being rested.
Yeah.
And that's something when you consider the grueling nature of this game and the manner in which he runs the ball. I mean, he is the punisher in addition to the ball carrier. And the amount of punishment he must have absorbed in doing that. And yet he just kept coming and coming and coming. In the last game of the year, he was still bulldozing guys. And not only that 32-yard reception was huge because that set up his 4-yard touchdown run.
Now, I know we do have to take a quick break here, but I need to ask you this question because it did come in on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. It has been a discussion that we've brought up with, Justin Duncan, Wes Cates earlier in the show already today. Dale in Melfort wants to know, does Rob think that Trevor Harris will be back next year?
I honestly have been wrestling with that one myself. You can look at it 2 ways. I'm a Denver Bronco fan. I remember the John Elway ending. Wins the Super Bowl, goodbye. What should have been the Michael Jordan ending with the Bulls.
Yeah.
Hits an NBA title-winning basket, done. But then there's the Washington Wizards sidebar. So I look at it that way, and I think, the timing could not be better. And then you think, I remember after the Riders won the Grey Cup in 2013, Darian Durant said repeatedly, this team's never won 2 in a row. Let's win 2 in a row. So I kind of, and I realize this is a wishy-washy answer, but I think there's 2 really compelling reason on either side of the equation. To be he loves it here. He says he wants to retire as a Rough Rider. And he's already a legend. He became a Rider legend yesterday. And to me, he's been a legendary person since he got here. But do you think, okay, maybe this is the person who can deliver the long-awaited repeat championship. But then you think, he's going to be 40 years old next year. It's a grueling game. Such an iconic performance in a big game. And he's got a family of 4 children and his wife, Kaylee. I haven't talked to Trevor about it. I don't know what's going on in his head. I just know what's going on in my head. And I'm thinking, that makes sense. That makes sense. And the result is I'm giving you basically a non-answer because I can't even begin.
You're allowed to do that.
I mean, the crowd was chanting one more year yesterday, and I wonder, or earlier today, and I wonder what kind of powerful message that might have conveyed. I'm sure we're going to find out pretty quickly because I don't think Trevor Harris wants to leave this organization hanging. If he wants to come back, that's wonderful news for everybody, and I hope he plays till he's 58. And I hope I'm still here when he's 50.
So because I've had a lack of sleep, if you will, right? So just to put this, Dale, in summarized form, Trevor Harris, you're saying, Rob, is one of 2 options. Number 1, he can be like John Elway, go out on top, and that was all that we see him. Or number 2, he can go out like Michael Jordan and play for Winnipeg next season. No, kidding. Sorry. Kidding. That's going to go up there, isn't it?
That's getting clipped, Kolten. Oh, boy. Now we're getting the break sign. Dave's in trouble.
Yeah.
Rob Vanstone, senior journalist with the Saskatchewan Roughriders and historian. First of all, congratulations to you as well, because you're a big part of the club, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having us. Candy sends her best regards from under the table, and I think she wants to go for a car ride. Want to go for a car ride? She turned her head.
Okay, yeah,
Teagan,
she's
Dave,
excited.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Rob. We are streaming at sportscage.com and our YouTube channel as well. We are going to take our break right now. We are on 620 CKRM and sportscage.com. All right, you got the Oilers taking on the Sabres tonight. Canucks are in Florida to play the Panthers. Wow. And then you got the Habs taking on the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. Those are your Canadian teams in action in the NHL. For the NFL, one more game on the slate in Week 11 as we wrap things up here. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. And yes, your Saskatchewan Roughriders 2025 Grey Cup champs. The parade tomorrow, 2 o'clock. On the Green Mile. So, yeah, line up. We are figuring this out. Okay, so Albert Street right at 13th and then down towards the Legislative Building. So we got the parade route right now on the stream, sportscage.com, our YouTube channel as well. So it's kicking off right at 2 o'clock on Albert Street. And they're going to be at the Ledge. They're going to do some speeches and stuff like that there. And it should be wrapped up right at 4 o'clock. So if you want to throw on your Rider gear and celebrate the 5th ever win in franchise history, then that's the time to do it. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. This is the home of local sports in Rider Nation on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Well, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being part of the show on this Monday edition, this Grey Cup Monday edition of the Sports Cage. I'm Teagan Witko, joined by voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas. Kolten manning the board, making sure we stay on the stream and stay on the radio. You are more than welcome to join in the conversation, by the way, on YouTube or Sports Cage. And you can always text us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. Maybe you have a question for our next guest. Maybe you just want to let us know how you're feeling. Are you sleep deprived? Are you hungover? Because it was a party across Rider Nation last night as we continue to talk about this massive win, 5th ever Grey Cup title in franchise history for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it's an exclusive club to be able to say that you won a Grey Cup as a Saskatchewan Roughrider. One of those people joins us now. It's Double Talk.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
Darian Durant, good evening, buddy. Colson's telling me that you're rocking. I'm good. Colson's telling me you're rocking a retro jersey today.
Yeah, I have the old school black throwback here with my number 14. So this is my my rookie year jersey, 2007. So had to represent for that 2007 squad and for the Riders getting it done last night.
boy, did they ever. Also, it's weird to see you in a jersey with a different number on it, but we can just move past that. It was your rookie year. I'll get over it.
Yeah.
But Darian, this is pretty exciting. Obviously, you know what this is like in Rider Nation to be able to bring the cup home and ending a 12-year title drought since that 2013 victory. I think we got to start with T-Mobile, Trevor Harris. I mean, wins as a starter for his first time, 85 completion percentage last night. What did you like about him in that game?
Everything. I mean, for him to just come out and do what he's been doing his entire career, pretty much. I was going to say just this season, but for his entire career, just be efficient. Take what the defense presents, not force the ball. Make sure that you give your guys a chance to run after the catch and just pick your defense apart. And he did a great job of that. I was a little bit worried on that first drive when Ento dropped that pick, man. It kind of reminded me early on of in the 2013 Grey Cup when I fumbled. And Sheets was there to pick it up. So sometimes you need lucky plays like that to happen as well. But other than that, which happened early in the first quarter, I think he played a pretty much flawless game.
Darian, obviously, so inside Grey Cup week, Luke and myself, we were fortunate enough to be a part of a Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation event, and the top prize that they had for the fundraiser that they held was a signed Darian Durant autographed jersey, and hugely popular. It cemented your legacy, 2013 did, with the win. Does this cement Trevor Harris's legacy, and do you think he's aware of that?
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, when you're as accurate as he is, he'll definitely go down as one of the more accurate guys of in our history of the league. But once you get that Grey Cup as a starter, man, like he said on the podium, you can never take it away from him. And that's what you play the game for, to win the ultimate prize, to be able to win the Grey Cup. He backed up Henry Burris and Ricky Ray, which are two Hall of Fame guys. But I mean, and he has a couple rings to show for it, but there's nothing that could ever compare to winning it as a starter and for the clock to tick to zero, knowing that you finally it's happened for you. And just like me, it happened later on in our careers. So to go through all the trials and tribulations, teams throwing him to the side, not knowing what's his next move year after year, for the most part, man, to seemingly find a home here in Saskatchewan and get it done, it definitely cements him as a legend.
Now, he was pretty clean in the pocket there. The offensive line gave Harris nearly a perfect pocket. We talked about it earlier in the show. I mean, he said at one point he didn't even feel like he needed to have shoulder pads on. How much confidence, and I'm not trying to take away from Trevor Harris's surgical accuracy here, but how much confidence does that give a QB knowing that you can trust those big boys up front?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you're dealing with two all CFL O linemen, guys who are at the top of the league at their positions, and then just his ability to make quick reads, get rid of the ball, put the ball on receivers in his timing. I mean, I think you saw it during warmups. He's just practicing his timing, going through his reads, getting rid of the ball, and not putting too much pressure on the O line. I think that what goes unlooked at sometimes is that the outside really doesn't realize that if a quarterback can go through his reads and make quick decisions, then it takes that pressure off of the O-line. It gets the D-line tired, and it makes it easier for everyone. So the way Trevor goes through his reads and gets rid of the ball, it helps the O-line. They go hand in hand, and that's what makes this offense click so well.
You said before about the Corey Sheets play. You mentioned it just a few moments ago, as a matter of fact. There was that play that was a defining one in 2013. But when you look back at that game, and again, there was the pass to G. Roy Simon. There was kind of the one that you dropped over the shoulder of Weston Dressler in that south end zone. Those are the two plays that kind of stuck out to me as being defining, this offense, they get it, and they're on their game. In this game, you could tell in that moment, if you will. Was there anything that stood out that way, that when you analyze and look at some of the nuts and bolts of the Roughriders 2025 offense in that game yesterday and say, I knew then that they're going to be okay?
Well, I think it's that play. I mean, look, if he makes that interception, Montreal just turned the ball over. So now Saskatchewan gets the ball. And if they throw a pick six in that situation, that could be deflating, man. You just never know the mood. Momentum's a thing in sports and in a big game like this. So just a change of momentum could, even though it's early in the first quarter, could be everything. So I really feel like once they didn't make that play, that the night would be the Riders. And usually it's a defining play that could turn into a huge play for the opposing team. And when they don't make that play and, the team comes back and they're able to have some success, then you know that it's your moment at that time.
How defining was the challenge by Corey Mace on that third down gamble for pass interference?
I mean, you can't take them home with you, right? You have to try to use it in the right situation, and what better situation to use it in a third and goal, where there's a little bit of contact going on, and the call could go either way. Just kudos to him for just being smart enough to throw the flag and knowing that you can't take it with you. And let's just see. I mean, the worst thing that can happen is that it's already been called incomplete, so it's just a turnover on downs. But best case scenario, you get the ball and it's first and goal. So why not give it a shot? And great job by him for managing the game in that situation. And he's just been doing an excellent job of managing the game all season long.
Now, I don't want to speak out of turn here, but when there were zeros on the clock and that last pass landed incomplete, Luke Mullender may have been around someone that was cutting some onions. Just saying. You could see how much it mattered to him. What were your emotions when zeros hit the clock?
Yeah, you know what? I had a little bit different feeling. I mean, we won 45-23. I think it was the final. So, going through the fourth quarter, I was kind of able to really let it hit me a little bit. I was able to go through the different feelings, different mindset, whatever the case may be. It hit me a little bit earlier, but I couldn't imagine that's one thing I always said. I do not want a tight Grey Cup game. I don't, everyone wants the feel-good story of you going down the field in the Grey Cup and kicking a field goal to win it, game-winning drive and all that stuff, but I wouldn't change a blowout for anything in the world. It just takes that anxiety out of the way. You don't have to worry about when they don't have a chance to come back, it's just the best feeling in the world. So for Trevor, I'm sure, man, every time Montreal had the ball, especially because they just drove down the field, and unfortunately for them, they fumbled at the 1 yard line. But with them just driving the field and still having another opportunity to score, I know it was very nerve wracking for him. So when the clock struck zero, you can just see him just take that huge sigh of relief, take a knee, praise God, and just let it all sink in, because it finally happened for him.
Post game, obviously everybody wants to talk to Trevor Harris, and there's a lot of quotes flying around out there, but one that really stuck out to me was when he was asked about what's next. He said he's stuck somewhere between retirement and hitting my prime. He's avoided publicly discussing what his future is going to look like after this Grey Cup with the green and white. So what do you think? Do you think he's going to be back?
I think so. I think Trevor has a chance to do something that has never been done in Rider history, and that's win back-to-back Grey Cups. I mean, the nucleus of this team is there. I mean, everything you could ask for at every single position. Keyshawn Johnson didn't play, who was the team's best receiver this year. You have him coming back. You just have weapons across the board, and this defense that forced 4 turnovers in the Grey Cup as well, they're all coming back. I know it's going to be tough to get every single guy, but I'm sure J.O. and Corey will get the nucleus back and make sure that that defense is still intact. But, I mean, look, why not run it back? I get that, he's going on 40, and at that point in time, you get a little brittle and things start to slow down a little bit for you. But he seems to be playing at such a high level. He's not a quarterback that relies on his legs or mobility to have success. So as long as he's still processing defenses at a high level, getting rid of the ball, and keeping himself out of harm's way, I see an opportunity for him to come back, and they have a possibility of running it back. I mean, you don't get the same team back at the Grey Cups quite often. And if the Riders can keep this nucleus together, then I think they have an opportunity to do something that's never been done.
Does winning the Grey Cup sway his decision for having the opportunity to go out on top? I'm assuming when you decide to retire, You don't just wake up on a Tuesday morning and say, yeah, I'm good. See you later. But does this change maybe how he approaches next year?
It really depends on how he approached the season. I mean, I don't know his mindset coming in. I know he suffered a gruesome leg injury a few years ago, and it just depends on his mindset. If he was coming into this season saying, you know what, I may have one or two left, and I'm thinking about calling it quits, and if we win the Grey Cup, then I'll definitely go out on top, then that's the way to go. Look, man, this is a violent game, and injuries are inevitable. And, you know, sometimes you have to take care of yourself. He has young children, and it's definitely something to think about. But I also look at the other side of things, and he's still playing at a high level, Grey Cup MVP or MOP. And like I said, this team is all intact. So I think another year in this offense, he'll get smarter, and, you know, they can take it to another level. And this team is in a good spot. And it also depends on the succession plan, right? You know, I'm sure J.O. will talk to him a little bit and figure out where he is. But if there's not a succession plan in place, or with Jake Mayer or anyone else, then, you know, that's something you have to think about as well.
Your reaction to a couple of comments on the text line, as well as from the comments that we're getting on our YouTube stream, of course, at sportscage.com. Number one is that Jason Moss should be fired because he never should have played Davis Alexander knowing that he wasn't at 100%. A, how do you assess his performance? And B, you've been a quarterback in the shoes. How close are you ever to 100%?
Especially at that point in the season. I mean, it's such a long season. I'm sure there was not a guy on the field that was 100%. But look, Davis Alexander is your best option. The guy's undefeated at quarterback. He's been dealing with this hamstring injury all year. He gutted out another gutsy performance against the Riders. As far as his performance goes, I think that he was just, you know, a little too antsy at first. He's trying too hard to make the big play. I think, you know, same thing. I fell into that same position in my first Grey Cup. You know, trying so hard to make plays, you end up throwing interceptions and costing your team a chance at winning the game. So I think it's something he'll definitely learn from. He's a young guy. They have a great team as well. They'll be back. You know, they keep that nucleus together. They'll be back for sure. But there's no way that he'd sit that game. And I'm sure everyone in the province of Quebec wanted him to be out there and feel fine with him playing last night.
So Jason Moss, obviously the quarterback whisperer, would he say something to his quarterback when you get that sense that maybe he's a little antsy? Like, was something said to you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, a coach will tell you to calm down, or you know, just, you know, play within yourself, do what you've been doing all season. But when you get out there, it's a different story. Those guys are flying around. Your first one or two reads may not be there, and he's known for relying on his mobility to extend plays and to make plays happen down the field. So he's not going to change the way he plays regardless of how his leg is feeling. And, you know, it could either go one or two ways. It could help you or hurt you. And then last night, I just feel like it hurt him because he was just trying a little too hard. Now, mind you, he did everything he had to do to put Montreal in position to score. They did have the ball at the 2-yard line with a chance to score and time with a 2-point conversion. So kudos to him for bouncing back and forgetting about all the mistakes he made early on and putting that team in position to win. But, you know, ultimately the mistakes cost them, and the Rider lead was just a little too big for Montreal to overcome.
So Wes Cates plays with a broken foot, right? And so Davis Alexander, I almost call him Davis Hamstring. Davis Alexander
At this point it might be.
yeah, has the hamstring injury. So the question is, did you face anything like that in your career, trying to play through an injury of that magnitude?
Not of that magnitude. I did have a sprained ankle in 2013 in the Grey Cup. I heard it against BC a couple weeks prior. But look, last game of the season, it's for all the marbles. You take as much painkillers as you can. If you need anything extra, then you do that. But at the end of the day, there's no way guys who compete at a high level, such as professional athletes, would ever sit out a once-in-a-lifetime game. And, you know, I remember 2007 and what Wes went through that entire season, and 2009 as well. He was banged up a little bit then, too. So, look, guys they play their entire career to play in championship games. And when you get that opportunity, you're not going to miss it. You have to be in a cast You have to have a torn ligament, something like that, in order not to play. And if you can walk, you can run, and you'll make it happen on game day.
Based on your experience participating in these Grey Cup parades and celebrations, are there any major memories that stand out to you where you're like, man, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life?
Just the support, man. Just going down Albert Street and just seeing fans on each side of the road, just cheering you. I mean, it's and it just reminds you of how special Saskatchewan is. Coming from airports, the fans waiting. When you get off the plane, I mean, you name it. The support is just amazing. I'm sure tomorrow is going to be crazy. I wish I could be there to enjoy it with the guys, but this is just a moment they'll never forget, and it's a moment the province will never forget. I mean, look, number 5 is special. We only have a handful, so whenever these times can come, it's definitely going to be something to remember, and I know it's going to be a great day, especially for the guys who really don't understand the love and support you get in Saskatchewan. It'll definitely be something they'll always remember.
Would you have any advice when it comes to the players and absorbing this experience?
You know what? Just soak up every single second. Enjoy your surroundings, enjoy the fans, enjoy the love, enjoy the support. It doesn't happen much, and it's so hard to get back and to get into a championship game, let alone win one. So whenever you do, and these guys have to understand, I just said it before, this is only the 5th time in history this team has won a Grey Cup. So the love and support you're going to experience tomorrow and the rest of this offseason is just going to be special, and guys just need to soak up every moment, enjoy every moment, document every moment, take pictures, whatever the case may be. Just do something so that you can always remember it, because it's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, make sure you enjoy the celebrations, but not too much to the point where you forget them, right?
Yeah, my guy Dave looked like he had a long night last night, man. He looked like he's tired there.
Hey, I was keeping up with your boy Mullender, all right?
Oh, my gosh. It's tough to do.
Yeah,
You're
kidding. Double Talk with Darian Durant. Thank you so much for doing this, buddy.
Absolutely. Congrats, guys. Go Riders.
Go Riders indeed. Darian Durant joins us, of course, every Monday on Double Talk, brought to you by Campbell's Safety Consulting. Enjoy having him on the show every week on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Jeez, have I been celebrating today? My goodness.
Hey, Darian Durant just told me I looked like crap. Like, come on. How are you going to read into that?
I think you're reading a little too much into it, Dave. You didn't say that word for word.
Maybe I'm getting touchy. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, he's a little tired today, folks. Western Pizza Guest Hotline, of course, brought to you by Western Pizza. It's a pizza known worldwide for a reason, loaded with toppings of Western Canadian ingredients and always cooked to perfection. Hang tight, because we still got more on the way here. I believe Pat's Chat is going to be coming up here shortly. We'll do the sports ticker first, but in the meantime, we will take a break. By the way, feel free, join in the conversation. Kolten Bridgmen is going to be joining us from the Regina Pats. So if you have a question for him, you can always reach out to us on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 306-936-6262. You can join the conversation in our stream as well on YouTube, and we are streaming at sportscage.com as well. Yes, the sports ticker. We see 3 Canadian teams on the ice tonight. The Oilers traveling to Buffalo to take on the Sabres. You got the Canucks in Florida facing off with the Panthers in about 30 minutes' time. And then the Montreal Canadiens in Columbus to face the Blue Jackets, wrapping up Week 11 in the NFL. Dave's Dallas Cowboys going to be taking on the Las Vegas Raiders tonight. 7:15 kickoff there. And of course, you've been hearing us talk about it all day. In case you've been living under a rock, the Riders are 2025 Grey Cup champions. The parade going down tomorrow at 2 o'clock. It's going to be starting at the Green Mile, so that's right on Albert Street and 13th Avenue. Make sure that you join the celebration, okay? Still to come, we got your sprinkle of the day, and we are going to be chatting with Kolten Bridgmen from the Regina Pats. That was your sports ticker for Steelcraft Doors. It is time for Pat's Chat. It is brought to you by Southie Mainline. Best inventory of new Dodge Durangos in the province with discounts up to $10,000 or rates as low as 0% for 6 years. My name is Teagan Witko, your Monday host of the Sports Cage, joined alongside Dave Thomas, your voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders as we come off that Grey Cup win. But right now, we're going to shift gears a little bit here, okay? We're going to talk some Pats hockey. And it is brought to you by Mainline Motors. Sorry. Kolten Bridgmen of the Regina Pats joins us in studio right now. Thanks for making the trek up here from the Durant Center.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it. Did you, first and foremost, I got to ask, did you watch the game last night?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was at somebody's house, and it was good. Good to see him win.
Here, we'll just get you to pull up that microphone a little closer to your face. Sorry there, Kolten.
All right.
I should have had you teed up there earlier. So what were you thinking in the dying moments of that fourth quarter as Davis Alexander hawks up that Hail Mary? What were you thinking?
Oh, statistically, that's not a very good play, and under 10% that they're going to catch it, so I wasn't too worried.
Oh, we got a stats guy here. I like it.
Analytics.
I'm not for sure, but in the NFL, it's something around 10%. So
look at that.
I
wasn't too worried.
Okay.
And I'm sure they practice that a lot. So.
Well, that made one of us. That made one of us that wasn't worried because anything can happen in a CFL Grey Cup, in my personal opinion. So you're an NFL fan. Who's your team?
The Broncos.
Oh, sorry about that.
Big win.
Coming from the Cowboys fan.
Yeah. Well, I cheer for my fantasy team too.
Oh, that's right.
So I cheer for them more than anyone.
Yeah, you kind of have to at this point.
Yeah.
Tell me about the Regina Pats right now. You are 6-2-1-1 in your last 10, so 6 wins in your last 10 games, unbeaten in the last 4 games. After kind of a rocky start to the season, dare I say, what's turned around?
I don't know. I think we brought in a couple new guys that kind of just had to adjust to the system, but overall we've kind of just been meshing as a group, and our room is really, really tight this year, and I think that's led to a lot of our success as of late. And I don't know, I think we just kind of came together and realized that we have to work together to win games, and it's been working for us. So,
believe you me, math is not my forte today, but if I've got this right, you turned 19 2 weeks ago? Is that close?
Somewhere it'd be closer to 3, but yeah.
See, not my
Happy
forte
belated.
Today. Yeah.
Happy belated.
Appreciate that.
What I can tell you is your team is on a bit of a hot streak right now at the right time, heading into teams they don't often face in the States, right? They're making that little road swing right now. They're on the bus as we speak, probably very uncomfortable. No, I'm sure the road trip is fine. But when we were at the Durant Center over the weekend, and the Moose Jaw Warriors, who, yes, they're my hometown team, so I'm always torn whenever they're in town. Goaltender Matthew Hutchison was in net for the Regina Pats after just being traded a couple weeks back, made 31 saves on 32 shots. Man, you guys have got to have confidence in his game right now.
Yeah, he was real good against his old team too. To have that type of game, it was special, and it was good for him, and he was pretty happy after the game. So.
As a defenseman, I'm pretty sure you'd be happy to have this guy on your crew, hey?
Yeah, I wasn't in the game, but I'm sure the boys were happy with him, and he kept us in it, and he made some big saves and made up for some mistakes. Like, he was real good. We were happy to have him.
What's he like in the locker room? Fun to be around?
Yep. He's kind of an extrovert. He's outgoing. He's good. He's what we need.
As a 19-year-old, this isn't your first go-around in the Western Hockey League. You've done this U.S. trip before and the BC trip before. Yeah. Number one, how hard is it? Because people don't quite understand the travel is involved. And then number two, are they different styles of hockey in the U.S. and in BC and even in Alberta and here in the East Division?
Yes and no. I think if you really want to break it down, you can kind of find some differences, but it's all pretty much the same. I think the hardest part, I might not be speaking for all the guys, but for me, the hardest part about those trips is the sleep. When you're going from town or city to city and sleeping on the bus or you're sleeping in a new bed pretty much every night, and I'm a big sleep guy, so that's probably the toughest part of traveling around the country.
I like that, big sleep guy.
Yeah.
That's great. And time zones too. That probably messes you up.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. The bus time just gets meshed together anyways,
yeah.
So.
I was going to say, what do you do for a bus ride that's 12 hours, 15 hours, 16 hours? What are you doing that time? Big sleep.
Like
guy.
I said, a lot of sleep. Yeah, our bus is good. We have mats on the floor where you can lay down, and it's basically like a bed on the floor where you can sleep. But the guys will play cards, play poker, chat, play video games, eat meals. I don't know. You can watch movies. You can find a way to keep busy pretty easily.
You can doom scroll on your phone and just like that, boom, an hour is gone.
Yep.
So I bet it's a bit of a delicate balance there too, without trying to, consume too much social media. You still want to make sure that you're building, camaraderie with your guys.
Yep, very true. There's 25 different guys you can talk to, so you can't really ever get bored. It's good. Yeah.
Saskatoon Blades had I don't know how much do you follow what the other teams do on this U.S. trip, because the Saskatoon Blades really struggled when they went out to the U.S. PA, had a real great road trip. How defining can this be for your team in stringing these 5-6 games together to ensure that, you get the result you want, but also continue to progress in the way you want?
Yeah, like you said, we're hot right now, and we're going in with a good mindset and a good kind of vibe, and it's important for us to win some games here on the trip. I think our last U.S. trip we were 0-6. Don't know if you remember that, but we've taken steps as a team, and we're ready for the trip. The boys are ready, so it's important to have some good games on the road and bring it back to Regina on a good foot. Yeah.
Was there a favorite place to play in the U.S. division?
I liked Spokane a lot. Their rink is it's like a basketball rink. Well, Portland's is too, but Spokane's fans were cool. When we got penalties, they'd all yell "shame, shame, shame" in the box. It wasn't the best thing, but it was cool to be a part of. It was student night that night too, so it was just packed, and it was a good atmosphere in there.
So you would have been 17 then. So
I was, yep.
As a 17-year-old going into that environment, how do you stay focused on the game and not looking around in the stands at what's going on?
It was fine. I think, honestly, when you're playing a game, you don't really look around. I think maybe after the whistle or the final horn blows, you kind of take a look. But other than that, you're kind of pretty dialed into the game.
Well, from what I understand, Spokane is really, truly a hockey community, but so is Regina.
Yep.
And Kolten, being from Regina, how does that adjust the way that you approach the locker room in terms of leadership?
Oh, I think it's different because I can just of the location, I can know where everything is and
show them all the
how
good
to get
eats.
there. Yeah, and I don't know. I think being from Regina, knowing the culture, knowing the history, I think not to say I take a little bit more pride in it, but I kind of just know how things have been over the last 10 years of watching the Pats, and I take pride in that with myself, and I want the boys to represent our community and our fans in the highest way possible, because it's really personal to me, because I was once that kid giving knuckles to the boys going out on the ice, and so I want kids in Regina to have that kind of same experience. So yeah, I take pride in it.
You obviously have a leadership role being a 19-year-old, whether it's just assumed by age or your actions and what you say. Obviously, it all matters coming from an older guy in the locker room. You've got two young guys that everybody talks about, right? Maddox Schultz and Liam Pugh. Is the team any different when they're in the lineup, and does your leadership have to change when you've got a younger lineup on the ice that in any given night, I suppose?
Not overly. I think to give credit to all our young guys like Maddox and Liam especially, they're pretty mature. Like U17s, Maddox was the captain, and Liam was part of the leadership there too. But they're mature guys. They don't need much. Sometimes, yes, a little reminder, but no, they're real good. And like our 16-year-olds too, or one I guess, or two.
Yeah.
Wagner and Paul are really good too. So no, I think maybe at times a little reminder here and there for those guys, but usually they're pretty good at staying on task and doing what they need to do. Yeah.
Well, Kolten Bridgmen, defenseman, Regina Pats, joining us here in studio. Really want to say thank you for taking the time to come down here.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
See, we didn't grill you too hard.
It wasn't hard.
Yeah, no, I thought it was going to be longer.
Well, I mean, you can tell us a story if you need to, but...
Yeah, I don't...
Homework, we can do all of that.
Yeah.
I don't got any stories. I want CD Lamb and Dak to do good tonight for my fantasy team.
Yes!
And then I'll be happy.
Are you going to go to the parade tomorrow?
No.
No.
I won't go to the parade.
You'll be there in spirit, right?
Tomorrow. Yep.
Yeah.
Be there in spirit. I'll see some videos.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Kolten Bridgmen of the Regina Pats joining us. Thank you so much. That was Pat's Chat, brought to you by Southie Main Line. The best inventory of new Dodge Durangos in the province, with discount up to $10,000 or rates as low as 0% for 6 years. I think we could probably take a quick break here. A little more Grey Cup chat on the other side. Plus, we still have your sprinkle of the day straight ahead. This is the Sports Cage, and we are the home of local sports and your Regina Pats on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com. Thanks for taking some time to join us here on the Monday edition of the Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com and YouTube as well. I am your Monday host, Teagan Witko, and I'm here alongside Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, fresh off a trip back from Winnipeg, and of course, Colson Schultz is the one that's making sure that everything is running just tickety-boo. That's the turn of phrase?
Saying.
That's the saying?
Works.
Okay, now let's go to a different segment. Sprinkle of the Day. Let's dive right in, boys, shall we? Sprinkle of the Day is brought to you by Sports Select. Getting in on more of the sports action you want is just as easy as playing at sportsselect.com. Simply go make your picks online, then they generate a QR code for you, and then you take it to your Lotto Spot retailer, and it just does everything for you automatically. It auto-populates it. Doesn't mean that we're taking away the pen and paper, or the pencil and paper in this case. Sports Select still has that opportunity to go in and fill out the slips on your own. Every bet 100% legal, with the chances of winning cash in hand. Sports Select. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. You got to be 18 plus to play, and please play responsibly. They also do have future bets. So like if you're looking way ahead into February, let's say, and you're Dave Thomas and you want to put money down on the Cowboys to win the Super Bowl, you do you, but you can do that. You can find out more how you can, bet on the winner of the Stanley Cup, Super Bowl, as I mentioned, NBA Final, NCAA, soccer, NASCAR, and more. So what do you want to look at here, Dave? You want to do a little hockey, or should we take a peek here at your Cowboys?
There are options available, and
plenty of them.
It would be a real Dave thing to do to put money down on Dallas playing in the Super Bowl, so I would advise against that. But you look at the line right now, trying to see Dallas -4?
Yeah, -4.
Ooh, that's interesting, isn't it?
It is a little bit over under 48.5.
See, and again, the problem is that, 48.5 makes sense.
49, I think. 49.5.
Oh, my computer's wrong. Thank you, Colson.
So 49.5. That doesn't change anything because the Dallas Cowboys defense still stinks. So you can see, I almost called them Oakland. You can see Las Vegas rolling up some points on them. And the 4 points, you just never know what you're going to get with Dallas, do you?
Not this season.
No. And again, 4 points is decent because, again, Dallas has to outscore their opposition because even though they did make a bunch of trades, though.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I'm actually going to give you this one. I think I would take Dallas.
Dallas -4, I would too.
Yeah.
I know that's not
Dallas
fair. We're
-4.
supposed to disagree, but I would agree with you.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I might be eating crow later in the week.
We could look at Canada, Venezuela, if you'd prefer.
Ooh, okay. Let's see here. Over under 2.
Wow. Did you see that soccer game? Was it a U Sports game?
The one in the snow?
In the snow.
The CPL.
Yeah, CPL. That's what it was, right?
Yeah, the Canadian Premier League.
And they had to play, didn't they stop the game? And the game took 3, 4, 5 hours to play, and they gave the goaltenders shovels?
It was shovel delays.
Yeah.
Which is the most Canadian thing I've ever heard. But I kind of love it. I mean, that's how you should be playing soccer in Canada. You should
in November,
yeah. You should have to contend with the elements. It's like the Grey Cup. It almost should have been colder yesterday.
Yeah. We're not going to complain about that. It was the correct outcome.
Yeah, I'm saying this to the guy who was actually there. I was in the nice, warm, cozy studio eating donuts with Colson, so.
Oh, trust me, I was warm.
You were warm?
We were warm until the very end. And then I had a pound of confetti in my shoes to keep my toes warm.
See? That's what they bring it out for.
I'd love to know how it all got in my shoes. I don't understand that part of physics.
It's confetti. It gets everywhere, and it never leaves.
It's like glitter. You're going to find it for weeks, just in random places.
Remember at weddings, back in the day, they used to do confetti? I'm way off topic, aren't I? But they used to do confetti at weddings, and they kind of banned it, but they also had where you'd throw rice, and then they banned that too?
Yeah, because it's bad for the birds.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
At my old job, because we do audiovisual stuff, which does branch into confetti, which is technically pyrotechnics. So we didn't do it too much. But we would do a couple shows, and the first time we did it is the only time that we used blue confetti. And I still get messages from the guys every so often, hey, found another piece of blue confetti. And it's been probably 8 or 9 years now.
Wow.
So it literally does not go away. It is not as bad as glitter, because glitter is so tiny, but still, it doesn't go away.
It just regenerates.
Yeah.
At some point. Interesting that it's pyro. I mean, it is. I guess confetti is flammable.
Compressed air, all that stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't think about the machines.
The confetti they used yesterday, the Grey Cup, was biodegradable, I learned.
Oh.
If you're using it outdoors these days, pretty much all the time, that would make sense.
You have to. Otherwise, you're going to get in trouble and ripped apart on social media.
It is really bothering me, though, that Curtis brought a whole jar of it home. Like, had the wherewithal to grab a handful and chuck it in his pocket or wherever he got this jar from. But, like, it is really, really irking me not to go and open that jar just a smidge for my own souvenir. Is that wrong?
I think you're allowed. I'm not going to tell. Colson, are you going to say anything?
I mean, it depends if the camera's on Dave or not. You know?
Yeah, true.
So Dave's just going to be hanging back for a little while. Yeah, for those who missed it, Curtis, coming in clutch, made sure that he grabbed some of the confetti, and it's, sitting on the shelf right behind Dave right now. Curtis also had a chance to see exactly what the feeling was like in that locker room at Princess Auto Stadium. If you're watching the stream right now at sportscage.com or our YouTube, you can see it's a party. Oh, Corey Mace is feeling himself. He is not stiff-arming anyone with a Gatorade jug. That's for sure. You can just feel the excitement through the screen. That looks
there,
like
you can
so
see me
much
right
fun.
there at the back of it, right there.
And that is why your shoes are stinky, right?
No, not stinky.
Not sticky.
Oh, sticky. Perhaps I'm wearing different shoes today.
Okay, well, that's probably a good call.
Potentially. It was interesting. So we were talking about, the memories of the game and whatnot, right? So like from Trevor Harris or Brett Lothar hosting the Grey Cup on the stage or whatever it might be. And on the text line, one of the favorite memories from one of our listeners was talking or seeing Trevor Harris with his boys. And they were sitting on the field playing in the green and white confetti. Thought that was the moment of the game. And it was really... That was really cool. Like, there were other ones, like Trevor's parents were there. Also, again, various family members from other people were out on the field. So I thought that there was like a lot of really cool moments because the team took the extra steps to ensure that all families were included in the celebration.
I didn't get that footage, but I did find this footage of Trevor Harris giving his dad a drink from the Grey Cup.
Which is just awesome. It needs to be a family affair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his dad, respecting the tradition, lets Trevor get it to him.
Yeah.
So
no, that's right.
Oh, that is so cool.
And it's cool because Trevor at one point then called for his mom to come over, and she was like, not going to happen. And so that very much did not happen. But
well, maybe next year if he comes back. Maybe she'll do it then. She's got to wait for him to get back to backs.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Here I am starting rumors over here.
All I'll say is that, you know what? This team is a special team, and they get an opportunity to be celebrated in public tomorrow with the parade. And then after tomorrow, the work begins, right? I'm sure that there will be some time taken off. But then you got to start figuring out, okay, what's this going to look like? Will Trevor Harris be back? Will he not be back? And again, I'm sure there's people going, Dave, what are you talking about? Like, we are less than 24 hours away from winning the Grey Cup. Like, what more do you want?
But that's how successful teams operate, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to always be thinking and looking ahead. Yes, enjoy yourself in the moment. Enjoy this victory. Enjoy the win and the big parade that's going to be happening tomorrow. But they also got to get back to business pretty quick. What did we talk about earlier? There's over 40 pending free agents on this franchise's roster. That's a lot of decisions that have to be made.
Yeah, but I think every team in the CFL kind of has that, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, it seems like a real big number, but with so many one-year contracts right now being the norm in the Canadian Football League, right? I think that's kind of going to be the process. And last December, we did see a flurry of signings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that potentially could come. But again, the one thing that Rob Vanstone kind of said, and I can't remember if it was here that he said it or if it was when I saw him post-game at the stadium yesterday, was he said, this doesn't happen where a Saskatchewan Roughrider team leads from post to post, right? They came out, they got the heart start. They maybe had a little bit of a waver against Calgary a couple of times in that September 13th game against Montreal, but then they had an opportunity because they earned it to make sure that they were set up to have the best potential roster available in the West Final, which they then took advantage of, and then they win the Grey Cup. So really from start to finish, and even in Winnipeg, I don't know that I got the feeling that the Riders were favored to win, which is remarkable, right? Considering they had the best record in the entire league. And yes, Montreal had rolled off a bunch of wins after that September 13th game to get themselves into a position of the playoffs and then, of course, winning the East Final over Hamilton. So you kind of got to tip your hat because that doesn't always happen, not just in Riderville, but in the entire Canadian Football League.
Well, the Riders are the big dogs, Dave.
They are.
Didn't you hear? It's their time.
It's their time. I heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maybe once or twice. There might have been, it was in like a song or something.
We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs. We're the big dogs.
Kolten.
We're the big
right on
dogs.
cue.
I'm not here to talk about Nathan Brewer. I think it's our time. We're the big dogs. I think it's our time. We're the big dogs. It's our time.
So good. Shout out again to Shauna, the producer, for slapping that one together after the media availability heading into the West Final. That was really good.
We got to put that together with the dressing room dance, right? And put that on social media because then, I'm not saying we don't have something, but then we'll have something. You know what I mean?
It sounds like Dave just volunteered for a new project, if I heard that right.
No, not at all. Not at all. I just found a way to entertain myself. It was a long flight.
I don't blame you. You know what? As we're talking about rosters and having to build for the next season, again, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here. So let's take a little bit of a look back. Again, exclusive content that Dave got on the field following this victory last night. A very interesting conversation because it was a very interesting year for Antoine Brooks Jr.
Yeah.
Antoine Brooks Jr., I'd say this is going to be a short conversation, but nothing is ever as short because you have got a Grey Cup championship to your name. How does that feel?
Man, it feels amazing, man. To be a Super Bowl and Grey Cup champion, to be both is actually a blessing, man. You'll never know what God gonna bless you. You just take the opportunity, man, and try to run with it, man. You don't never take stuff lightly, especially with your blessings.
Look at your year. Can you play linebacker? Sure. Can you play halfback? Sure. Can you play running back? You bet. What does that mean to you to hear the versatility and the excellence that your coaches have seen in you?
Man, it means a lot. My dad always wanted people to see the full potential of my football ability, and I think that kind of happened with this team. And my dad loved them ever since because, football is all about, seeing the full potential in somebody, and them coaches really did. And everybody, I kept hearing the same message: stay patient, you'll be all right. Trust me, you'll be good. When you come out, you'll pop out. When you come, ain't nobody gonna say nothing to you. You gonna be a good man. I can't wait till you pop out. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm just glad I got to help my brothers to get here and to this point. Messing with me in the Super Bowl, being there and already been there at the highest level, knowing how to, act and how to bring up and bring people together and stuff like that, and that's just got me there. And I'm just so happy.
I've got one piece of bad news for you.
What's that?
Trevor Harris ain't going to let you try quarterback next year.
I don't want to.
Antoine Brooks Jr., Grey Cup champion. Congratulations.
Nah, thank you, baby. I love.
Right. So that was our very own Dave Thomas chatting with Antoine Brooks Jr., and what a season it was for him. Whew. We have so much more, Dave, but the problem is we only have so much time on this show, and we just wasted time talking about confetti, but that's okay. I don't regret it. No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
I regret to say it looks like that jar fell off the shelf and some of the confetti may have spilled out on the floor, but I've picked it all up, Curtis. Don't be alarmed.
Oh, no. What a shame. Plenty more coming up on the show tomorrow as we continue to get ready for the celebrations in Rider Nation, Saskatchewan clinching their 5th Grey Cup title. The parade going down 2 o'clock tomorrow on the Green Mile. So that's going to start on Albert Street, go down to the Ledge. I know I'm going to be there, Dave. Are you going to be there?
I'm going to be there.
Kolten, are you going to make some time to be able to go before you have to come back here and
I think
run
I
the show?
have too much show prep still.
Somebody's got to work.
I know.
Just send me
gotta
good
hold down the
videos
fort.
for the cage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Attaboy.
And did you hear that? If you have videos from the parade tomorrow, you can send them Colson's way. You can always reach out to, it's hi at sportscage.com.
You bet.
We'll always take it. We'll give you credit because we're not greedy. Okay, we got to go. I'm getting the sign here. But thank you for joining us on the Monday edition of the Sports Cage. Barney will be back in tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. On behalf of myself and Dave Thomas and Colson, thank you for coming along for the ride. Good night from Century Studio on 12th and Rose. This is the Sports Cage on the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.